Welcome to another episode of the Purp Show. This is the Purp Show, Season 6, Episode 4. We're going to be talking about the Fantastic Four first steps. This is opening weekend. Have a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. I got some people coming on tonight. I sent some invites out, so we'll see who pops up. And I appreciate whoever's checking this out live. Um, yeah, I got you. I got you. I'm gonna text it to you real quick. Oh, you don't? Oh shit. All right. Let me drop it in the. I'm gonna drop it in the chat real quick. Yeah, just hop in when you can, so I could delete that. But like I said, yeah, we're gonna mostly talk about just Fantastic Four this episode. Talk about what people have been watching before we get into the actual discussion. Give some people some time to come in. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I appreciate people tuning in. If you're watching this live or you checking out the replay, it would mean a lot to me if you hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Because YouTube has just been really funny style with that shit. Yo,
Can you hear me?
yep, I hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I went to go to the text and I was like, damn, I deleted it, so I had to pop in and let you know. Yeah,
It's all good. It's all good. How you been, bro? It's been a minute.
I'm all right. Yep. How you been? Yep, I was trying to come in and chat with you at least for a little bit and shit. Yep.
Yeah, for sure, sure. Yeah, we're gonna be here for like, depending on who pops up. If it's just like, me, you, and Rashad, then we probably just go like an hour or so, or just see how it goes. But yeah, I'm fucking exhausted. I woke up at like 8 o'clock this morning, off of like probably like 4 hours of sleep. I was like, I was going because usually like Thursdays and Saturdays are my movie days and stuff. So Saturday, I had the whole day to myself. Hold up, let me get Rashad in here too. What up, Rashad?
Yo, what's good, y'all?
Chilling, chilling. I was just telling the people in Terrace like I'm exhausted. I'm running off like 4 hours of sleep. I woke up at like 8 o'clock this morning. Went to the movies at like 9 o'clock to go see Fantastic Four in IMAX. Um, I was
Damn.
originally going to watch the House of on Eden, but like the just how the times worked out, it's just like it's better to go see that first and then House of House on Eden. It's like a found footage horror movie made by these influencers and stuff. Like and that one was only like an hour 15 minutes long or some shit like that. So I was like, yeah, I can go in and out. And then like the last
Yeah.
one I just got out of was Sorry Baby. It's like a drama jaunt. Really, really, really good movie. Like really heavy and shit too. But I'm fucking exhausted. I was like, yo, I might have time to finish the last episode of Sandman and get that review out before I do the stream. But I was like, I'm probably gonna have to wait on that. But I do plan on dropping my season 2, part 2 of Sandman. Um, Probably tomorrow, if not tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna get into it tonight. And then I got another movie review for Monster Island. That's on Shutter. I was supposed to binge watch that, but it's just procrastination is a motherfucker. But you know what I'm saying? That's just been my whole fucking day. Like I'm finally like relaxed, and it's just like I'm super fucking tired now. Like,
Yep, you said
but
I
four
gotta
hours.
say, yo, that's dedication.
yeah,
Yep, you said 4 hours of sleep. Yep. I'm going off for two right now. Yeah. But luckily, my energy levels and testosterone is really high. So, like, instead of running on fumes, I just run off of willpower, and then I'm usually good.
yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I wish I could do that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, I'm an old man, so I need my rest, man. So yeah, 4 hours, but I'll be like a zombie with this motherfucker.
Yeah, bedtime 7 o'clock.
What? Well, I don't know about that now. Okay, now I'll take an old man nap or two, throughout the day. But yeah, I need at least 5 hours for the night. If I anything less than 5 hours, I ain't no good. Straight up.
Wait, so you mean to tell me like if we were hanging out in person and stuff, like you would have to take a nap?
Yeah, you crazy? Keep living.
Wait. So
Keep
wait.
living.
So if you're taking a nap, what am I supposed to do in the meantime and
Ah,
stuff?
that ain't my problem. Shoot, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna be
Go
in
to the
my happy
store.
place. What? You better, bro. You better figure it out.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
man, like I was just picturing that like, all right, yep, Rashad, you ready? You just
That's
damn.
right. That's right. Yes, sir.
The one about the serial killer. Which one, Tony? Are you talking about House on Eden? Or are you talking about Sorry Baby? Because Sorry Baby is just a drama, but the House on Eden, that's like a more found footage haunted house type of thing.
But that's crazy. You watched 3 movies, like so. You had a triple feature today at the cinema.
I could have gone four if I didn't like. If I was like, damn, I got to stream because I would have gone just and said, fuck. It was hot as fuck today, so I was like, yo, I'm not trying to be nowhere outside. Like,
Right.
so as
Nah, I
soon as I
hear you,
woke
man.
up, I got myself ready. I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the movies all day because normally Thursdays and Saturdays are the days that I'm mainly go because I'll be working the other days and stuff like that.
Right, right.
Yeah. So, but before we get into the Fantastic Four talk, did y'all? And we're gonna talk about this more when the horror pod comes back around because, we do got some Friday the 13th news and some pretty big news. You know, they dropped the teaser for the little short film that they're dropping, um, on the 15th of August. So that's why I said like it would be like a week before the podcast starts and stuff, so we could kind of talk about that. But then that goes into Crystal Lake, and then Crystal Lake goes into the actual movie, and they officially said that there is a Friday the 13th movie in the works, which is that's good news to hear. That's good news to hear. But they've been kind of weird with the whole promo of this, like the whole Jason universe stuff. I just and I'm pretty sure, like, in the mask, they showed the mask off. The mask kind of looks weird. It's like mad thick for some odd reason, or it might just be like the picture, but it just looks really weird. Um,
I was thinking that myself. I'm like, something about that mask just seems off. And I just so happened to follow one of the producers of Terrifier 2, Uncle Creepy.
yeah, I
And
follow him too.
yeah, and he posted a picture of the mask, right? And I'm like, that's it. He figured it out. So I'm like, damn, what is it about this mask? And he says the problem is that it's too expressive. Like the eyes are kind of like slanted, almost like he's frowning. And the
Hmm.
thing about Jason's mask that makes it so terrifying is almost like Michael Myers, there's nothing there. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? It's like no, it's
Hmm.
like stoic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whereas
And
when
it's
he's
not like,
frowning, it doesn't look as menacing.
and
So
it's not like they could bring back the sack head because I guess there's rights, like they can only like, use certain things,
Mm.
with certain things. I don't know. I know it's like probably there's
I
somebody out there that knows the rights better than me, but
so when it comes to that stuff, right? So I saw I'm definitely gonna watch Crystal Lake. The boy that they got, he a little bit too pretty, so I hope they mess up his face because Jason is supposed to be ugly as hell, which is why he gets murdered in the first place.
Right.
mhm,
So hopefully that's just them showing us the actor, and then maybe he'll trip and fall down some steps or something, and it'll mess up his face. But
mhm.
that's gonna be interesting to see that because like with the last Jason film that they did where they turned him into Rambo, I was like, get that shit out of here. So as long
But
as they
it was tight though. It was tight though. Like seeing him running shit, I was like, that's pretty fucking terrifying. But like, but going back to the original movies, like he can run when he wants to. Like he'll run when he wants to. And I was like, ain't that some shit? But
but the thing with Jason in the original franchise is that all he did was
mhm,
walk really fast. It was like he had this thing where
yeah,
he would move fast and the camera would move. but he never had to run because he would just teleport. It's like he would start walking
Right.
fast, and then they would look back, he wasn't there, and then turn around, he's there. Or it's like they would
Mm-hmm.
run fast and get in the car, or like even in number 8, where that professor ran up to the fourth part of the building, 4 stories, and somehow Jason was on the street, and when he got to that 4th level, Jason was already there and tossed him out of the window.
Wait,
So
here's
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
yeah, I just, to me, Jason was already what he was, and there was like a progression. I'm like, this dude literally went to hell, got blown to pieces, came out, possessed somebody. Like he's already fine. So I feel like you don't want to make him overly intelligent because he was called stupid in the franchise multiple times, and they even showed his brain, which was the size of a grape.
Yeah.
Well. In all fairness, though, not to go super nerd here, push my glasses up. Well, actually, in 2 and 3, Jason was running, especially in that
Yeah, that's
third
what I'm
one.
saying.
Where in that third one where your girl was having the dream sequence, which scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. When he was at the window trying to get out, and then he busted through the door and he took off running. So
Wait, wait,
Mm-hmm.
with
but you
each
said the
movie,
dream sequence, correct?
he got slower, especially when he became zombie Jason. That's when he started teleporting. But before that,
Okay. Yeah.
Right, but you said a dream sequence. Like dream sequences don't count. And then also, like when you look at the zombie Jason, there was no running. So remember, like when it first started, it was all about them figuring out what they were gonna do with Jason. But once they figured it out, it was set in stone.
Right.
yeah. Well, I'll just use that as an example, nigga. But the
Mm-hmm.
two and three, he did do a little running. He wasn't full out sprinting, but he ran. And
Mm-hmm.
and like Purp, like I don't know, I didn't mind him running in that 2009 Friday the 13th. I thought that did make it
Yeah.
kind of scarier. Like when he was
It
chasing
was
the girl,
everything
he was
else. It
like,
was like the story. It was like
yeah,
the first half is cool, but then like the second half kind of goes off the rails. But
right,
I
right.
I wish it would have kind of followed through. I would want to see where this would have gone with like a second movie or something like that. But
That
Mhm.
that movie was so bad that it killed my boy on the big screen. It was a wrap. There was a lot of bad
It could have been worse than Freddy's Dead. Now, nothing beats Freddy's Dead as far as worse, like
well,
slasher
Mhm.
well,
sequel.
well, sure, but it's just that Jason had a little bit more potential. Like when they dropped that movie, I was just like, okay, maybe. Like it was off putting when I seen him acting like Rambo, but I was like, I'm gonna watch it because I grew up watching Jason. And then I was just like,
Mhm.
this movie is so fucking terrible. They probably won't make any more. And then the scene transition is they did. So
But
Hey,
anyways,
can y'all still hear me? Because my screen just went black.
now I can hear you. I can hear you.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, for some reason my screen just went black. I don't know what the hell that is.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
You can still hear us though.
yeah, I can still hear you.
All right, true. Well, anyways, we'll talk more about Jason when we see the short and like so far the mask doesn't look great, but if you give people like I said to my homie on Twitter and shit, it's like if you give people exquisite kills, they won't give a fuck. Like nobody will give a fuck. Like if you do dope ass kills and shit like that, all's
Um,
forgiven.
hey, there's I don't care. I need a few things. Like I said, I need the
Mm,
fact they got to keep in the fact that he's a victim. That's number one. I personally want the mask to be right because I'm going to be looking at him, so I don't want to be like, damn, that mask is
yeah,
trash. Why is it too express? I'm
you
like, victim, mask, and the kills. That's what
you
you got
you
to do.
don't see like a situation where it's like this is just a mask they're using for the sweet revenge things, and then like when we get the actual movie, they'll probably update it or just kind of fix it, probably, or just listen to the fans or something like that, like and be like, go back to the drawing board, keep the design, but like kind of like change it up a little bit,
If okay,
touch it
so
up.
if they change it like in the actual franchise, right? Because he's had a few different masks. Like I said, like when you get through the experimental phase and then he's buffer later and he just is just like,
Mm,
all right, that's Jason. So like if you get to a point to where you're going to get to one of the iconic masks that he wore when they established him as an overarching character, then I'm okay
right.
with that, but I just don't want it to start with something that's too weird. I don't want it to be
Yeah,
too off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, all right, we'll talk more about that. I just wanted to kind of get y'all thoughts on that. You know what I'm saying? It is good. The next one up needs to be Nightmare on Elm Street, but that's probably going to be a little bit longer of a wait. So Hard Never Dies season 3 coming August 23rd. So mark y'all calendars. I'm saying. So with that being said, let's get right into. Well, Rashad's gonna come back, but we'll get right into this the Fantastic Foe discussion. Spoilers, people. Spoilers, spoilers. So we're gonna be talking spoilers and just our overall thoughts and pros, negatives, and just what this means for the future, similar to what we did with like Superman. So, um, Terrence, what was your initial thoughts going in before watching and stuff like that? Were you excited, nervous, all the above?
Um, Based on you know how I'm very knowledgeable about these characters and stuff. So for me,
Mm,
always have a very interesting perspective with how I view it. So I look at it as, how much are they pulling from the comics, and then also how does it look in just as a movie if I were to divorce it, right? So
mm.
no matter how I was looking at it, Perp, I was just like, damn, this shit looks terrible to me. Like, I was just like, what's going
You
on
didn't
with
like the trailers?
no, I didn't like none of the trailers.
You didn't
I
like the
was like,
'60s aesthetic and stuff like. You didn't like that?
no, like I was one of
Damn.
the individuals where I was like, I don't like that they put it in the 60s. I wanted it to be in modern times. I had issues with the cast and shit. Like Perp, it got to the point to where I was like, I'm not even gonna pay for this. Like I'm gonna watch it, but for free. So those were my thoughts going in. Was just like this shit looks horrible to me.
So just a complete low expectations, like in the
Right,
gutter type shit. Yeah.
right, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let me get Rashad back up in here. Get his thoughts. Yo, it's all good. All right. Um, give him a second. But yeah, it's my initial thoughts on it was like I was excited. Like for the casting at first, I was just like I was optimistic. I'm always like kind of like optimistic when it comes to because it's like you never know. I try to like not have any expectations. Just go into movies as blind as possible. That's kind of just how I've been be able to just enjoy whatever movie and stuff like that. Or you know what I'm saying. So watching that first trailer, I was like, yo, this I like the vibe of it. I'm liking the '60s vibe with it. The only person from the cast I was not vibing with was Pedro. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess it's just like we've seen him in everywhere. But then like lately, like watching him in something like Freaky Tales, I was like, yo, he's actually really good in this. Like, and Pedro is a good actor. It's just like the stuff that they give him is just nothing is like, you know what I'm saying? It's just I don't know how to really put it into words, but then seeing him in this, it kind of changed my whole kind of perspective, and I'll get into that, when we get into the actual movie and stuff. But first impressions, and like as soon as we kind of started getting closer and closer to the release date, I got more and more excited. I was trying to avoid all the little TV spots and stuff like that. I really like the costumes. They're like bright. It just feels like something that would come out at that time in like an alternate '60s or something like that. It kind of was giving off that like old like Fantastic Four kind of vibes, or just like not like old Fantastic Four, more so like the Jetsons and stuff like that. That's what it felt like to me. Um, like the Jetsons
The
meets the
Jetsons.
Partridge.
That's funny.
The Jetsons meets the Partridge Family or some shit like that. That's what like what I'm saying. Like that's what I was
Yeah.
getting from there.
Yeah.
But
So
Rashad, you're back now. So what were your initial thoughts before going in? Like, how did you feel? Like, were your expectations?
my expectations were not that high, just because the Fantastic Four has not been known to make very good movies. But I was just
Mm,
expecting something fun. I thought I knew it was going to be pretty decent, just because the MCU is now behind it. You know what I mean? And then when I saw that
yeah.
first teaser, when I saw the back of Galactus's helmet, I said, okay, we're gonna see Galactus, not a cloud. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was kind of excited, but then people like Terrence was kind of pissing on my parade. telling me how bad telling me how bad the movie was gonna be. But he wasn't the only one. I had a few people in my ear telling me that the movie was going to be terrible, it was going to be shit, and I'm like, I mean, and they were making good points why it was going to be bad. Like, you know, I had really no rebuttal for that, so I'm like, yeah, I just hope it doesn't suck, and it didn't. So
Yeah,
there it is.
yeah. So yeah, first thoughts. Like I said, yeah, it was interesting. There was a lot. Not only both Superman and Fantastic Four had a lot riding on it, just in their individual rights, and just like if this Fantastic Four like didn't hit at all with the people, it'd been trouble. Because now
Yeah.
this is like starting a new phase, and then on the flip side, you got Superman starting a whole new universe and stuff. So it's like there's a lot riding on it. But coming out of both of those movies, like I enjoyed them very much, and I just feel like um, I think they're going to start embracing the actual comic booky nature of these stories, and I think like
Mm.
I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like after the Batman Part 3, that's probably going to be our last like superhero movie that's like grounded. I think that time of like comic book movies just kind of run its course, and it's time to just kind of embrace what these IPs are, or just what these comics are, and who these characters are. So I
Um,
think, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say to your point when you know, you were talking about a lot riding on them. I'm like, there's a big problem that's happening
Mm,
right now, Perp. Number one, Superman has yet to make a profit. Like Fantastic Four just came out. So
mhm.
Superman has a long way to go. Like right
Yeah,
now, as it's shaping up, it's about to be a flop. So
Really?
yes, because the budget for Superman is 225 million. They spent over 200 million on marketing. So the movie has to make 650 to 700 million to break even, which means that for a profit margin, you're looking at anywhere from 750 to 800 million.
So
and
where's it
I
at?
think it's at
But
like
right now though,
470, but it's gonna
right
cross 500 by the end of the weekend.
Okay.
the problem is that it's only at 400 and something. And then secondly, overseas they outright rejected Hope. They wasn't trying to have none of that Hope shit over there. They was like, we are good. And that's because the problem
I,
is that with the DC brand, they messed it up for so long that they've divided the fan base. You have like five different factions on what they believe that DC should be. The difference is with Fantastic Four, if this ends up being the fourth flop for the MCU recently, it won't matter because then they can go, you know what? We got Spider-Man coming out, 1 billion. We got Avengers Doomsday,
true.
2 billion. We
Yeah.
got
2
Avengers
billion, two
Secret Wars,
billion,
2
back to back
billion.
money bags.
Right.
Right.
See,
Right.
DC doesn't have that because WB has been fucking up. It's like occasionally you'll get, you know, like the one that
What?
makes money all the time. At this point, that's a guarantee is Batman. Even like with something as
Yeah.
divisive as the Twilight dude
Mm.
coming in, you still made over 700 million. So I'm
Right.
like, but
Mhm.
everybody else that's not Batman, yep, shit is flopping all over the
But
place. You
but
got
to to but to be fair though, like I've always said this too. To really see the legs of both of these, like you know, what I'm saying the first weekends is still cool, and like Superman still made a lot more money in just a short amount of time, and they still got a whole month of like in August. Like they're gonna keep these movies in for the rest of the summer, so they definitely gonna make make at least 700. I think they gonna definitely hit that
That's what I
700
was
for
thinking. I
sure.
mean, I knew it was going to cost. I knew it was going to cost a billion,
With
but
Fantastic Four is undecided though. Like Superman has been slowing down, right? So like David,
In some
the
cases,
pro-
but hold on, but in some cases, because like out my way, like both Fantastic Four and Superman shows are being packed. Like they're still
Mhm.
packing out
Yeah.
shows.
but so the money is moving slow, and the reason why we know
Hmm.
that is because number one, Jurassic World Rebirth was cleaning up. That made a bunch of money. Number two, Brad Pitt's movie F1 made a bunch of money. That took away from Superman. Fantastic Four just came out. That's also going to take away from Superman. And now you got James Gunn saying stupid shit like, "Oh well, you know, Superman is really not that famous, and if we make our budget back, it'll be fine." I'm like, no, if you only make your budget back, you have lost hundreds of millions of dollars.
But you know,
Yeah.
So
you know what's
they're
wild
doing
though. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy though, bro, is that Jurassic World is the inferior to like out of the three. Jurassic World is the worst one, and that's the one that's going to clean up and make all the money. It's
and all F1 is pretty much the Gran Turismo movie, with just with a bigger budget.
It's
the exact same movie.
I haven't seen F1 yet, but it's like I've been paying attention to the box office. I always pay attention to the box office of movies because most humans.
But hold on, but F1 is also looking like a flop because that people forget how big that budget was. That shit's like 300 million. So
right, no, I'm not saying that it's successful. I'm saying that it made a lot of money that took away from Superman. There's a bunch of movies doing that, right? So the problem is that you have another divisive movie. Like you have, and it's extreme. You got humans like, oh, it's great. Then you got the ones saying it's trash. And then you have the in-between saying it's mid. So the difference between them and Marvel is that with Marvel, a lot of times you get a lot of forgiveness, a lot of glaze and stuff. And then humans are like, oh, well, I'm not going to fuck with this one. But you do an event film like No Way Home or Deadpool and Wolverine, which is what it turned into, right? Nothing but event films, no connectivity, no buildup. It's just boom. They know that they got it like that. As to where WB, they're like, oh, we're going to do this plan, but we know that they're currently at this moment stepping on James Gunn's toes. Like all those films that he announced, they already canceled like 5 of them already.
Yeah, I think too. I think the problem is that you know, Superman's fan base is mostly like us. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not hearing a lot of kids saying that they want to go see Superman. Like for example, I'll use Lilo and Stitch, very mid movie, but all the kids want to go see it, and that's why it's the highest grossing film right now of the year because all the kids are dragging their parents to go see this. There's no little boys out there that want to pull their parents to go see Superman just because Superman got his ass whooped.
Correction, first $1 billion Hollywood movie, like Deja 2 still.
Okay.
That's still the highest.
I'm saying like so, Lilo and Stitch, it made more than $1 billion. You had kids that wanted to see it and adults that enjoyed the animated movie, right? But the problem is the reason why Superman is divisive is because if you look at the last 20 years, mostly when you have Superman that's really great, he's been on TV, Smallville, Superman and Lois. But then with the movies, you get shit like Superman Returns, which was trash. Then you get Man of Steel, which is a great movie, but not a good Superman movie. And then you get this one, which is a better Superman movie, but then humans are saying that it's not enough balance and that's not my Superman. So I'm like, when you have all that divisiveness, this is why there's a struggle. So it becomes surprising when a DC movie makes money, but when Marvel makes money, ain't nobody surprised by that shit.
Yeah, it's already an established brand. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying, it's guaranteed. Like they have that cushion of okay, you don't like that, but guess what? We have these movies coming up, and that keeps the traction going.
And I think we do. Like I think the masses needs to kind of get off of that, like the getting so obsessed with box office because we never used to care about box office as much as we did now. It's just like
I don't care about box office.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't care about box office.
Yeah. I'm just saying, but you don't you notice that even with like I know you don't be on Twitter like that, Terrence, but like whenever you get the discussing films on Twitter, that's the first thing they talk about. Be like, oh, they'll talk about the budget and how much you gotta make. Like, who gives a fuck about that? You're a movie outlet. Like, we're not like we don't got no stocks in the shit.
Let me tell you, the moment I stop. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Terrence. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I was just gonna say, man, like I remember when Dread came out, right? And it was like nobody went to see it because they thought it was gonna be bad. But then like the DVDs and Blu-rays just beat everything else that came out this year. So and then Carl Urban started a campaign like, hey, now that you guys know that this is good, are you willing to go and see the second one so we can get a trilogy? So and then there was this whole thing, and everybody was like, yeah, we'll definitely go see the second one now that we know what time it is. But then the movie studio was like, that's not how that works. Like, we needed the movie to make money while it was in theaters. Sorry. No Dread.
Yeah, you gotta support the stuff.
I was about to say, unfortunately, show business is business. So, but I stopped paying attention to the box office when The Incredible Hulk came out because I guess I don't know if I'm in the minority that loved that movie, but it did not do good at the box office really at all. You know what I'm saying?
No, it didn't.
And I'll give you another example where box office don't mean shit to me is, okay, Upgrade and Venom came out the same year, right? They're basically the same movie pretty much. But
Except Upgrade is better.
Venom made a shit ton of money, and Upgrade didn't make any money. And Upgrade is the way superior film over Venom.
You know why that is because so Upgrade is clearly the superior film. I mean, anybody with 2 brain cells knows that. But when something is called Marvel, you're gonna have more eyes on it. And then on top of
like
that,
Apple.
right. So then, like Venom has some stock, even though they ruined him in Spider-Man 3. It's like there's an awareness of this Venom, like, oh, that's the one connected to Spider-Man. And then you couple that with how crazy he looks. That's why it worked. But see, if you notice the box office of the sequels, though, they don't hit like the first one. So you can't keep doing that same shit multiple times.
I mean, so well, Purp, going back to, I remember we had this conversation before. You said, okay, who's gonna make the most money, Superman or Fantastic Four? I think at the time I said Superman just because more people know Superman. But now I don't know, because not only is Fantastic Four now MCU, which is almost guaranteed to be a winner. You know what I'm saying?
It's on the same. It's right now. It's on the same trajectory. Like as far as it start as Superman. Like that's what we're saying right now.
I think what's going to tip it over though to surpass Superman is the fact that word of mouth. You know, it's actually a good movie, and people are saying it's a good movie. So now more people are going to watch it.
And you make a good point though with the international stuff, because like that definitely hurts. And I don't know what it is about that. I guess maybe it has more what you said, or just more of what's going on in the world right now. Like it's like so chaotic in certain different places and stuff like that. People aren't really worried about going to the movies in other countries and stuff like that.
There's unless it's to watch dinosaurs.
There's three factors, right? So I told humans there's going to be 3 things that I'm paying attention to. Number 1 is the Thursday screenings. Fantastic Four won that. And then after that, the opening weekend, Fantastic Four might win that. And then the ultimate one is, where is the box office when it's all settled and done? Because when you open to only 6 million in China, the second biggest movie market, that is terrible. That is like an insane rejection. But then you have these other movies that do well internationally. So there's no excuse for my boy Soups. It's just that humans weren't feeling that shit. That's the truth. So with
let me tell you something. Yeah.
Fantastic Four, Rashad, like you said, the thing I keep hearing is it's great. It's the best Marvel movie. We're back. It's the best since Endgame. That's all you hear. It's like insane glaze without any mentions of.
Yeah, we gotta stop saying like the best since Endgame. It's like that joke's kind of like
that's too far.
Right, but that's what they do, and I'm just like, I get why they do it, but the real ones, we like, man, shut that shit up. Stop doing that. But when you keep doing that, then it's gonna help. It's gonna at least help the movie. So I said that Superman's going to beat it. That's looking to be false at this moment. But if Fantastic Four wins, then I'm like, well, look at the word of mouth that is attached to the MCU. It might be able to do it.
Yeah, and well,
I looked at. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say right now, Universal definitely has the golden ticket, because they could be a zombie apocalypse and nobody's going to the movies, and Jurassic World will still make $2 billion worldwide. It's something about those dinosaurs that the world loves to see.
And like I said, I still think they're both going to make their money. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it just because of their placement. Looking at August, Fantastic Four is the last big blockbuster for the summer, and so both movies just have that whole month to just make whatever money they're going to. And they're probably going to keep these movies until like at least September. At least,
right? I mean, like I said, I'm like, it's shaping up to be a flop just because it's significant.
And anything could happen too. Anything could happen.
Right. Yeah. So anything could happen. But my thing is, between the two, it's much more important for Superman to be profitable. I'm just like, they desperately need some W's, and not just that, but it's like it should be W's across the board, like the fans, the different. like the different DC fandoms, you got to unite them or get most of them, the critics
I would
and
say
then the finances.
I
still
agree.
like
I
as the
agree.
majority more people like Superman than dislike it. Even though like you're right, there is that discord, but like a lot more people walked out liking this movie, and I think that's a
Yeah.
step in the right
And
direction
then
And
for it.
Terrence, I agree with what you said, bro. And I just want to piggyback off of that because but even though both movies have a lot of writing on them, but yeah, if Superman fails, then DC fails. You know what I'm saying? Then they have to start from scratch again. Whereas if
yeah.
Fantastic Four fails, guess what? We'll still see the Fantastic Four again. They just won't have their own solo movie.
Right. They got that balls, right, Rashad? Like the movie ends, they like, nobody has to go. Are they gonna come back? They tell you in words like they will
Yeah,
return.
you
They
will
will
see
like
them
with
again. Yeah,
DC, it's like you could see a mid-credit scene, you'd be like, oh my God. And then a couple weeks later, you read an article, they're like, oh, James Gunn has been fired. This
right,
movie has been
right.
canceled. You're like, dear God.
Exactly.
No,
So
but
for
I
Fantastic
like
Four,
what
that'll be the end of their solo career. But they'll
but
return.
but I like what James is doing. Like he's getting the ball rolling. Like we got Supergirl now, Clayface, and
Mhm.
things are being in production. Like nothing's like what I'm saying. So we're
Right.
still gonna have to wait to see. Like, and DC still got the advantage right now because they're just starting back at square one, so they don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like the next movie, like Supergirl, definitely has to do well. Like if we start to hit like out the gate, like just only hitting 500 million, only five, then you should just start being worried. But anyways, let's get back to the Fantastic Four. Let's get into some um of our dislikes or negatives first before we get into positives. Cause like I said, like Superman, I got more positives than negatives.
Mhm.
Um, Negative for me, um, it's kind of like 50-50 because I understand like we're going to see more of these characters. Their arcs are just like we're going to see more things in the future. And the more I think about it, out of all the characters, I thought they were pretty dope, and everybody kind of held their own. I do want more of the thing, some more sequences, but at the same time, like I like that they kind of gave Johnny some more spotlight. That he wasn't just like kind of like a background character. Just Sue felt more like a main character. Everybody felt like important, integral to the story. That's just a little nitpick. I feel like the movie could have been longer. I think it could have benefited because I was actually liking just the chemistry with all the characters and stuff like that. I feel like that worked. The whole like
Mhm.
family drama of it, like I could just sit there and just watch that. One guy have no action or nothing like that, or just them just uh, that's kind of hmm, that's kind of it for like my negatives. It's like really small because like I'm trying to think, and
I
there's
mean,
not.
you said you wanted the movie to be longer. It was. They actually reshot the ending to the movie. I want to know what they shot at first.
Mm.
Yeah,
You know
we'll
that.
probably get that like answer in like a year or so or something like down the line in the future or something like that.
Okay.
Because I think
Yeah, I
this
didn't
could
know
have been
that.
like two. I think this could have been like 2 hours 15 or something like that. You know.
Yeah.
Yep, they changed it at the last minute. As soon as they announced Mr. RDJ as the makeshift Doctor Doom, they reshot like the last 30 minutes of that movie.
Ah.
Yeah, because probably it's going to have something to do with Kang and stuff like that, and instead.
Mhm.
But we'll talk
Okay.
about that. Rashad, what were some of your dislikes or negatives or nitpicks or?
Well, like you, I didn't have a lot of negatives because I really enjoyed the movie, but a few things really did rub me really wrong. And the first one is Johnny Storm. I hated his character.
Wow.
Because dog, the Johnny Storm that I remember, he's the rebel of the group. He's the charismatic one. He's the one that gets all the girls and stuff. He's the Han Solo of the Fantastic Four. And this guy, I don't know if it was the actor or if they told him to do that or the way his character was written, but he was kind of a dork. Nothing about Johnny Storm said cool in this movie. You know what I'm saying? Nothing at
I
all. Like,
disagree because I feel like he still had it, but it wasn't just like he was like what I liked about it is like they didn't make him just like the dumb, the dumb blonde kind of character. Like, oh, I gotta get all the chicks. Like, no, I could bag these chicks, but I'm also smart too. I could pull I'm not as smart as we Reed, but I can figure this shit out. Like, I like that they gave him something really like important to do.
I mean, I get that, but I mean, I'll use Chris Evans for example. Like, as bad those movies may be, and Terrence, you and I talked about this earlier today. Chris Evans bodied that role as Johnny Storm, man. He was the perfect Johnny Storm, and it's like now anybody who plays him, I'm going to compare it to that performance because I feel like Chris Evans captured the character that I know from the comics and from the cartoons. So that's my first negative is I hated Johnny Storm's character. And
then Rashad, like you mentioned, how we spoke about that earlier. I'm like, this motherfucker did a supernova in the first Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know how much intelligence it takes to figure out how to do that shit when you just barely started training to do that?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in those two movies, at least they got that right. So my second negative is the CG on the Thing. I thought a lot of the CG on him, especially when he was walking, was pretty bad. I'm like, come on,
really?
man. Like,
I thought it was kind of clean.
I mean, sometimes it did look clean, man, but for the most part, like, I don't, because like we're almost 10 years past Thanos, and Thanos CG seems flawless compared to the CG on the Thing in this movie. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed real it seemed blotchy at times.
Well, he's not like MODOK or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, ain't like MODOK. Nah.
But that's cool though.
And plus, even with the Thing, I didn't get that famous, shit talking, it's clobbering time. You know what I'm saying? But like when he said it, it was so cringe. Like, come on, say it. It's clobbering time.
I guess because he's kind of flying and stuff, but like I'm pretty sure he's gonna do it again. And it's gonna be a better, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna get to my last negative is my last negative is the way Galactus went out. You know what I'm saying? Like Galactus, like even I brought my kids with me today, and my son was like blown away by how menacing Galactus was and how big he was. Like when he was talking, and then when he stood up, and my son was like, "He was sitting down that whole time." And when he saw like how big he actually was, like his eyes got big, and he was like, "Yo!" And when Sue took him out, I'm like, "Dog, this is an Avengers level threat." And Sue Storm Dolo blasted him into the what you call it, man. I was like,
Sue Storm is like that though.
I mean, yeah, she is. Nah, she is, but I don't know. He went out too easily. He went out too easily for me. But those are my only gripes with the movie. Other than that, and I feel like we could have got one more action set piece. You know what I'm saying? Even though they had that montage in the beginning, but other than that, the movie was all about negotiating with Galactus and stopping Galactus. But there was no action sequence that you remembered. You know what I'm saying? Besides them fighting the Surfer and then Galactus. So I feel like we could have had one more action set piece.
Well, yeah, I'll give him my thoughts with Galactus because I hear that like kind of sentiment. It's like almost the whole Superman's weak thing, but we'll talk about that after I get Terrence's thoughts. Terrence, what was some of your negatives, nitpicks, or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Let me know.
Okay, so number one, Pedro Pascal is Reed, man. Like it. See, to
you didn't like him?
No, hell no. Okay, so I like
not even a bit. Nothing.
So I'm gonna break it down to you like this.
Okay.
Like I'm a fan of Pedro Pascal as an actor. As a person, there's something wrong with him. But as an actor, he's talented. I like him. I'm the one that was, like, hey, yo, I like him as Din Djarin, and I liked him in the Equalizer 2, and I'm just remembering all the shit. And I liked him in the OG Buffy the Vampire Slayer series. You know what I'm saying?
I forgot he was in that shit.
Yeah, so I'm like, I've been rocking with Pedro since I was a fucking kid, basically. So my thing is like, I'm glad that they wrote him to be intelligent, because in Doctor Strange 2, he was a fucking idiot. So I'm glad the intelligence was there, and his acting was fine. But at no point was I like, man, that's Reed right there, because he didn't look like him to me. So I'm like, to me,
even when they were sitting around the table and his hair was like the little curl came out and shit like that. So that didn't.
when I saw the curl, like my friend, I remember he nudged me. He was like, "What you think of T? Is that Reed?" I was like, "No, that's." I was like, "That's to me, that's Ricardo Richards." You know, I was just
Ricardo Richards.
Ricardo Richards.
so,
Hilarious.
But
yeah.
Terrence, but we do agree though that the way he was written, like the way he was written on the page, that's Reed Richards. Like his intelligence,
fact,
the way he
yeah,
solves
yeah.
problems and shit. That was Reed, but
Yeah,
just
like
casting was off.
Like the scene where Sue was like, "How come you didn't build the baby care?" She was like, "Excuse me, the anybody could build that shit. You see what I made right here? Only I can make this." Like
Yeah,
that was fine. I was like,
Yeah, and it's like he's very much like, you know, Tony in a way, but like I like his version where he's a little bit more subtle, but like he don't really raise his voice like that,
right,
unless he really needs to. Like he a little bit more. He kind of keeps his composure a little bit more. But like what I like, just to kind of interject about Pedro, what I like about it, just like he actually kind of like just like when he came back from like when they came back from, you know, seeing Galactus, for like he looked disheveled, man. Like that motherfucker, he's just like he thought he just saw God. Like like yeah. He's like, I didn't expect that motherfucker to be that big. Like
he was just like, damn, that's way beyond my calculations. Oh shit. Like, yeah.
But that's how he was in the comics. But Reed Richards in the comics, from what I remember, I mean, I haven't read it recent, but Reed Richards was always like mild mannered. He was always real, just cool about it. You know, you never see him lose his shit. Like everything was always calculated with him. You know what I'm saying?
It was, except for when the villains got too hacked. You know, he definitely got expressive, or when he was backhanding his wife. You know, that's why she went to go.
Hilarious.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so that was one of my issues. And then another problem was Johnny. I was like, you can give him something to do, like how they did in the Jessica Alba Fantastic Four films. But I was like, I don't want to see somebody that puts me to sleep. I'm like the same monotone. I'm like, where's the energy?
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
the same voice. I'm like, I'm like, I need a fluctuation in his voice. He needs to be cool. Like it's supposed to be when the dudes see him, like, man, how can I be like Johnny?
I want to be
But
like that
also
guy.
having
Exactly.
him solve the equation. So what they did is they stripped that, because Joseph Quinn, who I like, I was the one defending him until I saw him in the trailer. I was like, yo, that's Eddie Munson from Stranger Things. Y'all crazy, like he gonna kill it and stuff. But then when I saw him in the role, I was like, he not really fitting. And then I was like, why they write him like that? Because I seen him in Warfare and all this stuff. He's so much better elsewhere. So I'm like, I don't like this boring, low energy Johnny Storm. And then they had that scene where he was interacting with the female Silver Surfer, like he was trying to hit on her. I'm like, she not gonna give you no ass with that monotone personality.
We never know though.
Man,
she was monotone too. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But nothing about him said cool though, man. He was not
supposed to be monotone, but Johnny is not. So I'm like, when the way she was acting, I was like, that's fine. To me, she was whatever. But I'm like, they're not supposed to have these wild personalities, because Galactus stripped them of all that. It's not until they start remembering shit when they, you know, start getting more like how they used to before they became a herald of Galactus.
But
anyway,
that's
wait, go ahead.
No, I was saying that's interesting that people don't like this Johnny Storm though. Like that's really interesting. I think he's gonna grow. He might have to grow on y'all. Maybe. Give more movies.
Watching it a second time, I did say, okay, I guess. But when I first watched, I said, nah, that's not Johnny Storm, man.
So for the movie, it's okay, but to me, I'm like, if they would have took what Chris Evans did and combined it with this one, you would have the perfect Johnny Storm. However,
so you think like, you know, that might be a part of his arc or something like that, like where when he comes over to MCU, that will change. Like you'll see him being more of that kind of playboy or something like that. Like he'll probably, I don't know how old Johnny would be. Like,
well, him and Peter Parker around the same age, like, because I remember reading the early comics. You know, Johnny, like Peter Parker. I mean, Spider-Man was always, you know, pestering the Fantastic Four. But I remember him.
That's what I said.
Close in age.
Okay, but
that's what I was going to say. Like if this Johnny would cross paths with Tom down the line, like probably not probably the next Spider-Man, but like the next one after that, like they'll go to the same college or some shit like that. Or that's why I'm saying, like, how old is?
I just think that that's backwards. What should have happened is we should have got something like Chris Evans first, and then when he crosses over into the main continuity, he does something intelligent that surprises everybody. Like, y'all thought I was just some dumb partying motherfucker, surprise, and then he just does something epic. I'm like, to me, you do that part after, because you need to establish him as this nuisance, this I don't give a fuck about nothing. Then you show that other stuff.
So are you completely writing him off, or do you just like, all right, let's just see what they do with him in more movies?
That's a good question. As it stands, I don't like him. However, something
your mind could change.
Right, something in the future, like if they give him some more energy, give him like coffee and a Monster or some shit, and then make him like if they put him next to Tom Holland Spider-Man, who's hyper as hell. Okay, Mr. Stark, he's just acting crazy. I'm like, if you can bring him up to that, then I'll be like, okay, now I like him. You know what I mean? I don't know what took you so long.
Yeah, and now it's like it's pretty much been like 9 years since they've been the Fantastic Four. Next time we see them, they're going to be on some fucking crazy shit. Like they'll probably be way more powerful, doing crazier shit. Reed will probably actually, like, what I'm saying, do some crazier shit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, even the banter between Johnny and Ben, the 05 and 07 movies did it perfectly. Like that. That's how they like they get on each other's last nerve. Here they do it a little bit, but I'm like, nah, that banter just doesn't seem.
They're like Uncle Jesse and Joey.
Yeah. So I just like that scene in the 2005 one when Johnny brought the action figure to the thing, and he was like, "Hey, come on, Ben, this is cool, right? Watch this." And then he pulls the string. It's like, it's clobbering time. And then Thing just grabs it and smashes that shit on the wall. He's like, what are you doing, man? That shit was expensive.
I'd say no. The best thing in Johnny moment was when Ben was sleeping and Johnny put the shaving cream on his hand. And then, and he like celebrates, walks out. Johnny! That's the thing in Johnny Storm, man. That's
what up, Zod?
Right. Okay, so that was one. Yeah, what's going on, Zod? Yep, how you doing, man? My friend, how you doing?
I'm sitting in it here in the dark playing Until Dawn, and then this son of a bitch's thing for this live stream came on, and I was like, damn, I saw this Fantastic Four movie that pisses me off because I liked it more than Superman. Who am I going to talk to about? And lo and behold, all of the usual suspects are here. I saw it.
Hold on, let me finish off my couple other.
Yeah, go ahead.
Then you got to go, Zod, because you just got here. But so Human Torch, and then the Thing. So I've never liked the Fantastic Four as a group. They've always put me to sleep when I read their comic books, right? But the Thing is my boy. That's my favorite character in that group. And in this movie, it was like he was Professor Hulk that looked like the Thing. I'm like, every time I saw him, he was like, "Hey, how you doing? Yeah, lift the car, yay!" It's like they took away all the things that makes him the Thing. There was no like, "Oh man, I'm ugly. When are you gonna change me back?" You didn't have.
There was a little bit of that though, like where he was like looking at his reflection. So that might be a character arc for him, like in the future, like that.
That's cheap because there's no follow-up scene. Every time we saw him, he was smiling, making sandwiches and shit, going, "Okay." Okay,
yeah. He was too civilized. He was too civilized.
He was civilized and nice. There was no aggressive.
And maybe that's probably like the because of his environment, how people treat the Fantastic Four. Because if he comes over here, they're probably not going to be as loving. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody loved them, treat them like celebrities, and just what I'm saying.
I definitely get it, but the problem, the thing with the Thing, regardless of where he is, it's always about. It's not just how humans treat him, it's also how he feels about himself, which leads to his aggression. This is why whenever he fights, he beats the shit out of people because he's already angry. Right. You know what I mean?
I see that, like, just what I said about, like, when he comes over to the 616, they're going to have to deal with social media. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole different piece that, like, you know what I'm saying? Right. So they could do
I
some
just,
funny
I
things
just
with that, you know. Some
I just don't like the whole like at
Mm.
some point they're gonna get like the comics. I don't like that. I'm like, do it the way it's supposed to be done, and then the things that are smaller with the characters you can add later because they're
build on to
smaller.
that. Yeah, set the
So like
foundation.
to me, like he should have been leaping off of buildings, punching Galactus in the face, getting smacked down, jumping back up. It's clobbering time. Just laying it down on him. Instead, it just I got a nice dude that didn't want to say his line, that just wanted to bake cookies on Sundays, right? So that was another issue. And then my final issue was Galactus. I'm like, so I call him Galactus. You know what I'm saying? They cucked him.
Damn.
Cucklactus. So I'm like, my boy was looking great in IMAX. When they showed him visually, I remember I couldn't breathe. I was like, damn, he's not a cloud. Oh my God. So
I can
that's how
see him.
Yeah.
right. And then it's like you see the silhouette of the stars and then his eyes glow and then he leans forward. I remember I leaned back in my seat like I was in trouble. I was like, oh shit, that's Galactus right there. So they had all this build up. Even when the female Silver Surfer was talking to him, like, hey, yo, man, why you need that baby? You Galactus. And he was like, you
Hush,
shut your
woman.
What?
when I tell you
Does
I need
Galactus have a choker,
something,
bitch? Like,
right.
What?
Yeah, he was like, when I tell you I need something, he's like, do you know what it's like to be hungry for millions of years? No, you don't. I said I need that damn child. So I was like, man, when he shows up, everybody's done. And then he shows up, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't seem as big, like not even that much bigger than the buildings. And then Sue beat him with the power of family. She's like, ah, and then Galactus was like, no, it
no.
can't be.
To be
Yeah.
fair, it was a
Believe
group
that.
effort. It was a
No, no,
teamwork.
no, 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 no,
It was
no, no.
teamwork.
No,
Yes.
no, no. Sue Storm pushing him back
Because
is the
as she's pushing, you know, well, Reed put well, no, it was Johnny first, try to hit with the flames and shit in the eyes and stuff. That didn't really do shit. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Reed tried to, like, you know what I'm saying, do his shit. That didn't
Just
really work, but it did kind of like fuck him up a little bit. Whatever,
busting
like,
out like
I don't know
He's back
I don't know
up.
what I don't know what he stabbed or whatever with the liquid, like what that kind of staggered him a little bit.
No,
And then when he was up,
isn't that his feeding
but
tube?
my
Isn't that how he eats? That's why I heard him. That's his feeding tube, right?
yeah,
That
but
they
that's
hooked up to?
still, but you still can't do that. So the idea that he's trying to walk and he's getting pushed back and he goes, no, and then he's like holding onto a building which should crumple, right? Remember that thing with the thing, how he knocked down the pillars? That was
Yeah.
supposed to be a highlight. I'm like, that's stupid. I'm like, that would never happen like that. I'm like, this is the same dude where you need half of the Marvel universe just to knock him down.
Thank
And then
you.
Thanos
I mean,
needed a whole
to be fair
Infinity
though,
Gauntlet
to
to beat
to
him.
to be fair though, they could none of them could like really do nothing. Like that's the best case scenario. Is like, yo, get this motherfucker out this earth, send him across it. Because like even Ray said, like, yo, it's gonna take us years to figure out like what to do with him and stuff and whatnot. So
I'm not against the plan.
mhm,
It's just that
yeah,
what should have happened is that they try and they fail and he eats the planet and they have to leave as a last ditch effort to match the mid-credit scene of the Thunderbolts when they came over into the main
I
MCU
no,
continuity.
I think that's happening in a different time. I have a thoughts on that, but we can get into that with
But here's the thing though. I get
mhm.
like the plan of number one, they shouldn't have known that he should, you know, that he can shrink. They shouldn't have known that. That's just that movie shit. But aside from that, I'm like the ability to push him back is not possible from Sue Storm. This is the same character in the comics that passes out when she goes up against lesser characters. You should not
Yeah,
be able to
but
generate power to push him. Because even check this out. Some human try to tell
mhm.
me what if, and I'm like, you can't do what ifs. The movie, you don't do that. The movie didn't tell you that. I'm like, this whole Franklin being inner in the residual energy. I'm like, would you look
I
that
mean,
up on Google? That's not how that works. Number one,
Residual
there have
energy.
been
That's good.
months since he's been out of her body. It would have been different if he was still inside of her, because then it wouldn't have been her, it would have been his powers. Kind of like when I told him you know, like the comparison of the OG charm when Piper had her son Wyatt in her body, because he was a mixture of a charm one and a white lighter. So he had a bunch of hack powers that shouldn't even exist. But every time she would be attacked by a demon or a godlike figure, he had a protective mystical bubble and it was able to reflect attacks to destroy the person that delivered them. However, when Wyatt was out of Piper's body, she didn't have that power no more. So that's what that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, no, you cannot use Franklin, who most humans cannot even explain to you in 60 seconds, as a reason for her to be able to push Galactus. I'm like, no, she's not powerful enough to do that.
Mm-hmm. Even at full power, she's not powerful enough to do that.
No, absolutely not.
But at the same time, Iron Man should not be going 1-1, like throwing up the ones with Thanos at all. Should not be.
Okay, all right.
Hold on. No. Hold on. Let's be real. Hold on. When it comes to the power scaling, right?
It's always been off.
Kevin Feige and them don't know shit about these characters. That's why you have crazy power scaling. Because unless Iron Man has a special suit where he can battle gods, which is a thing in the comics, it's rare, but it has happened. He should not be able to do that any more than Steve Rogers should be able to catch Thanos' hand, or Captain Marvel being able to headbutt Thanos. All that shit makes zero sense if you want to talk about accuracy.
Yeah, so, for sure.
But the difference is with Thanos, despite the power scaling, he still clapped all those fucking characters and he won by the end of the movie. Like every time you saw Thanos, nobody was putting hands on him. Nobody was pushing him back. It was like, I'm going to do it myself. So your first introduction to Galactus is they push him into a portal. I'm like, I don't want to see him because he's not scary anymore. I'd be like, if Galactus showed up to my planet, talking about I've been here for millions of years.
I think they're saving them to come back at in Secret Wars. I can see it there or somewhere down the line.
I know he's gonna show up again, but the point is that if he tries to say anything, I'm like, shut your ass up. You want me to go get Sue Galactus? So that, to me, those are my issues.
Oh, you're gonna get Sue, huh? You're gonna get Sue. You know, you were something else.
Right. Imagine him saying that. Oh, you're gonna get Sue on me? You're gonna really do it? I'm like, yeah, and you know what I'm gonna add on it? I'm gonna add your Herald, Shala Ball. You're gonna get clapped by these females. Say something else, Galactus. You know, that's what I'm gonna hit him with. Secret War. We ain't even gotta get to no wars, Galactus. I got my two characters right here that's gonna body you. But nah, you know, despite that, you know, like I said, those are my issues. But it's more of a it's a combination of comic book knowledge, and then if you divorce that, how it works in the movie. Like if even my friend, he was just like, I don't know shit about this, but shit, like, how does that make sense that she was able to do that? I'm like, it doesn't make sense. That's just the movie shit. So I'm like, the fact that he knows nothing about it and he thought that was odd. I'm like, see, he has no knowledge, and he thought that Galactus should have clapped that fucking planet. Like, it should have been, like, it would have been different if it was like, even though I still would have been like, no, don't happen like that. But if it would have been the Thing beating him up, Johnny hit him with the supernova, Reed is pulling him into the portal, and then she's pushing him, and then they getting hit, and they keep trying to get him collectively, and there's a lot of actual attacks going on, then I'd be like, okay, that's fine for them to push him back, sort of, as opposed to how it went down. Because to me, I'm like, you cease to be impressive when you can be stopped in that way, and that's your introduction to everybody.
Right.
I mean, but at the same time, like, you know, that was still the plan. You know, so they can't kill him. You're not gonna kill Galactus or anything. You can just you got to just delay it.
I mean, slow him down, but yeah, that was just, I don't know, that just didn't show.
It's just like I make a comparison. Like I'll take JJK, Jujutsu Kaisen, like Gojo. Nobody, like, a lot of people can't hang with Gojo, but like if you seal him, then like, yeah, you can kind of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, most people can't go 1v1 with Gojo, but you could seal him and stuff on the whatnot.
I said this in my video too. I said I kind of compared to what they did with Kang the Conqueror, right? Even though Kevin Feige says, well, we always had plans to replace Kang because he just wasn't. Nah, shut up, kill yourself.
No, he knew exactly why
Kang. But
in Minecraft.
Yeah, but with Kang the Conqueror in Quantumania, it's like, okay, this is supposed to be the Avengers level threat like Thanos, and he gets taken out by a bunch of ants. You know, like, going back to what Terrence said, how am I going to take him seriously after that? You got killed by some ants.
But I ask you this though, Rashad, what happened to the ants?
They were in the movie. 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 They were in I forgot. I fell asleep on that movie.
I get so okay. So here's the thing with the ants, right? I'm like, I didn't hate that, but it's like the crowd, right? My friends, they're just like, oh, he don't seem that powerful. You're not supposed to get humans to think that, regardless of how it ended up. It's like, look, in a previous scene, this dude said, "Are you the one with the hammer?" You know, I get them all mixed up. He's whooped so many asses across the multiverse. You don't even remember people's names anymore, including Thor. But then you have that scene. It seems to be a blatant contradiction. Like they didn't know what to do with the character.
Yeah, that's what I think.
But anyways, Zod, real quick, your negatives, nitpicks, whatever.
Okay, so my nitpicks, damn T-Virus went on that fucking 3-hour rant, and most of what he said, I agree with. My biggest issue, and I think somebody in your comment section said it the best for me. First off, go see Weapons. I got to see it early. Go see that movie.
Oh yeah, I want to check
it out. I got my IMAX tickets. Yeah.
After watching that movie and then coming back to this, and to Superman, I thought Superman was not that great, and that was the one I was most looking forward to. I was not looking forward to Fantastic Four. I thought the setup was kind of weak, but the character dynamics were good. But the issue I have is, the Sue Storm thing is total bullshit. Canonically, comically, fucking, even if those hardcore fans want to argue movie rise, her powers have limits. And I heard the same stupid bullshit. Oh, but she had the kid. That's not how birth works. If the mother gets traits from the son, and I'm talking on a biological level, even like food allergies and stuff have been linked to kids. And how biology works, people, is after the child is born, 90% of the time, they do not have the same things they had during pregnancies. For instance, my mother couldn't eat certain foods because she got nauseous. After my brother was born, she was able to eat those foods. That's how fucking human biology works. And so that fucking argument is stupid and makes no sense. I heard another argument that because the kid was in proximity, he was kind of fueling her power. I mean, according to the comic books and the lore, that could be possible, but I don't think the fucking directors thought about it. Really, for me, where this movie falls apart is the third act. There's a lot of shit in here that doesn't make sense. I think the Silver Surfer was fucking pointless. I love the actress who plays the Silver Surfer. I like the idea and the story that they don't fucking elaborate on whatsoever towards the end. Like I would have liked that movie as opposed to what we got with her at that point. I was like, if you cut her character out, the only significant part she has is the self-sacrifice, and Johnny could have did that. So it was fucking pointless. And I just thought, like, while the characters were kind of close, and I think that the actors did put in work, as T-Virus said, especially I'm a huge Thing fan. I saw what they were going for. I saw what they were trying to do. I even get what Purp is saying, but they're not laying the groundwork. And this is an issue that's been in Marvel for the past couple of years. They used to set the groundwork for these characters to have these arcs that they go on. And I feel like now they're doing what DC used to do, and they're rushing this shit along because they are fucking in trouble. They know they're in trouble. And I really think that the buzz around the movie shows. I heard a lot of people who are just normies, normal friends of mine, who thought the movie was all right, or they didn't get certain scenes, or they didn't understand the significance. And honestly, if you didn't read comic books, even for someone like me, it would be hard to make up the plot holes. And as T-Virus said, if it's not in the movie, if you don't specify it in the fucking movie, because this has annoyed me reviewing shit where people just make wild jumps for directors. Stop fucking making excuses for a movie and giving directors credit, or throwing your own ideas into it. If it's not explained in the movie, I don't accept it as an excuse because it wasn't set up. I mean, even if it's a vague hint or a suggestion or a fucking nod or a 2-second scene, then I could be there with you. But if you throw out some wild shit that ain't even in the movie to try to justify shitty directing, then I'm sorry. It's a problem with the movie. And really, the problem with this movie, like every fucking Marvel movie, is the third act. It's so great setup. Like Galactus is another big issue. So much setup. I was there. I was in it. I agree with everything T. Ryer said. Like, you got this dude. The dude's voice fits perfectly. Kudos to that actor. I forgot his name. Fucking intimidating as shit, right? And I could even deal with scaling him down because I understand Galactus. If you play the games or you read comics or watch a fucking animation, he is too big to fit and visualize. And I understand that they have to kind of make some bullshit up. It just comes with the territory to have him a normal size. I get it. But it's something about that third act where they just stripped everything they built up, the whole intimidation factor, and it boiled down to push him in big portal. And I don't know if this is intentional, but this is the second fucking movie with a bad guy being pushed into a portal. Can we stop being fucking lazy? Like, oh, we can't beat him. Throw him in another dimension. Like
in a portal.
To be fair though, to be
two movies that the central villains get knocked into a fucking portal. Like,
to be fair though, it made more sense with Galactus because it's like that's all they could really do with him. They can't do nothing with him.
But the thing is that when you have someone like Aura Shim in that trash Eternals movie, the way that they did him in scale, like at the end when he was over the planet and he snatched up Cersei and they couldn't do shit. I'm like, when Galactus had Franklin, it should have been the craziest visual, better than Aura Shim from Eternals, and then he should have got bigger than the planet. Like, I got your son, bitch. You know what I'm saying? And then eat that shit or something. Like, that would have scared the fuck out of people. And that would have set a huge marker for how insane Galactus is. And then it would have got the audience to tremble because it's like, oh my God, the child. I'm like, well, you know, they're not going to let him kill the child. But what they did let him do is clap these heroes. That's what they let him do.
Well, he did almost break Reed Richards like a piece of gum.
That would never happen to Luffy.
and that was my other issue too. I'm not on this hate train because if Pedro works and stuff, like, I'm not a person who's going, oh, I see Pedro too much. Like, look, it's fucking Hollywood. It's just like back in the day if you have Clint Eastwood or any of these guys and they're
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Pedro's the go-to guy now. He's the go-to guy.
This might be new to you kids, but this is nothing new to us who have been around doing this for a long fucking time. My issue with Pedro Pascal, especially in these recent castings, is that he is like Joel from The Last of Us, or like his persona just is carrying over. And this Reed Richards, while some of the performance was decent, it still felt, to me at least, like a mixture of Joel from The Last of Us mixed in with science things. Like, he's very dour, kind of downing himself, that kind of a thing. And it's just like, yeah, I've seen this performance before. I didn't feel like he was bringing anything new. I don't know the bullshit they were talking about, Johnny Storm not having the same personality. I didn't see a difference. That was pretty much Johnny Storm. I think it was more marketing. I don't stop rage baiting people, Hollywood. I think they could have went a little bit more over the top. I personally prefer Chris Evans' take on.
I hated this Johnny Storm.
Yeah, like I prefer Chris Evans. I think that more embodied the flamboyant, doesn't take shit seriously.
100%. Right.
Like, womanizer, and yes, oh my God, he's a womanizer. Grow the fuck up. That's the character.
It's a character. I mean, what they gonna say next? That's like saying that Batman is too mean and serious. I'm like, it's the fucking character.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's the rebel. He's the rebel of the group. That's what made Fantastic Four somewhat exciting to me, was because of Johnny. You know, because nobody else really has that type of personality. You know, so being that this Johnny has the personality of a wet mop, it kind of takes away from the charisma from the rest of the group, you know?
And the only one to me that was pretty a standout was the what's her face who plays Sue Storm.
She was great. She was
I
great.
called it. Rashad, didn't I call this shit about Sue Storm and Shala Ball?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. So
Like,
oh, good. Go
I
ahead, Zod.
liked they brought it back to family. I think Marvel has stepped away from that, and this is the first family. So I like the family aspect of the movie. I just think they leaned too hard. I don't think this movie is bad or as bad as I was expecting. And
There's
I
no
don't
jokes too. There's no like real. It's not jokey at all.
Yeah,
But
and
hold on, but
that was the other thing. I loved that it was serious when it needed to be. That was my big issue. If you guys remember me on this panel for Superman, one of the fucking biggest gripes I had was they went too far over, and some serious moments were like undercut by jokes. In this one, I actually appreciate that they took the serious moment seriously, but then you have them just fumble the third act of this movie spectacularly to me. So to be quite honest, neither of these movies are going to make my top 10 list, but they're not going to make my
That's
worst movie.
crazy.
They're just kind of there. And I will end by saying this for the negatives I do have. I think at least on some level, it's some kind of fucking progress for Marvel. And I mean,
It's the first steps.
First steps.
It's the
Yeah.
first steps for them to, maybe think briefly. That's a damn shame. But yeah. But let them know what's up, Rashad. Let them know.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. So gotta give credit where credit's due. Terrence called this about a couple months ago. He says, look, he said Sue is gonna be, the focal point. She's gonna be the one that saves the day. Her and Lady Surfer. They're gonna, pull the don't worry, she's got help. And stop Galactus. And when I was watching it and it happened, I said, God damn it! I said he called it. I said he predicted the motherfucker. He called it.
And
But at the same time, but at the same time, it still required teamwork to take down Galactus. Everybody in the Silver Surfer at the same time.
Yeah.
Because
So
Johnny had to have the Silver Surfer, and then what I'm saying.
It wasn't as on the nose. It wasn't as on the nose as Endgame, where it's like, okay, all the girls are teaming up. So it did fit within the context of the movie. So that's why it didn't bother me. But I just had to laugh. I said, "Damn!" I said he called that.
I laughed because it was stupid. If you remove Sue Storm from the movie, that whole planet dies. Without somebody to push him back, everybody dies. Without Silver Surfer knocking him in, because Johnny wouldn't have been able to do the setup either if it weren't for his sister. Sue Storm is integral for that plan to work the way it does because she is the physical component.
Mm-hmm.
And
she was the MVP.
Here's the other thing, man. They kind of shortchanged Reed in this. Like, don't get me wrong. I think his powers are the stupidest power set in the MCU. Along with Miss Marvel, that like I never liked that ridiculous stretchy power. I just find that useless. Okay, that's personal preference. But with that being said, he doesn't do he doesn't really do his thing. And I don't know if it's because they knew it would look stupid or CGI wise, whatever. It wasn't coming together. But did anybody else like?
I think they just.
No. I'll tell you why they didn't do it. They already said it in interviews. They wanted Sue Storm to be the vocal point.
Well, no, they also said too that his powers look stupid. Like there was
but that's not why they did it. They said that the first thing they said was like, we cannot make Johnny like this in 2025. Agenda.
That was all rage.
They wanted Sue Storm. They wanted Sue Storm to lead the team. They also wanted to highlight the female Silver Surfer. They said all these things.
Yes, but Terrence, what I'm saying is this goes with that trend. And I've watched the movie and we all have. So specifically, this goes with this new trend that they need to stop doing. I think they did it for the exact reason that is happening right now so that everybody can talk about it and highlight it. And then when it happens, go, oh, you see, Marvel's doing the thing. I think, honestly, in their minds, they think baiting this rage gets more eyes because of everybody who's going to talk about it, and then people are going to go to see it to spark up the it's a tactic of negative marketing because what's that saying that
negative press is good press.
Yeah, negative press is good press.
You know
There's
what?
no
You're
such
right.
thing as negative press.
You're right, Bob. You're absolutely right about the negative press. But see, this is why Kevin Feige's a fucking clown. I'd be like, so you think this is gonna work? Captain America 4 flop, Thunderbolts flop, the Marvels flop. I'm like, should I continue? I'm like, so
Yeah,
this
but I don't think
tactic that they're
Fantastic Four is
doing.
gonna flop. My theater was packed. Like all the showings were packed. 3 of
I'm
them
not
were
talking about
sold out.
Fantastic Four. I'm talking about the ones that I mentioned. Fantastic Four just came out. So the jury's out on that until I see the overall box office. But in terms of you mentioning the rage thing as being a tactic, you're right. But the problem is it's led to them having many flops over the last 5 years, losing billions of dollars and low viewership for their shows.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna argue with you on that. You're absolutely 1000% right. I didn't say the tactic was good. I said that's the.
Right. No, I'm not saying you said it was good.
I never said it worked. I never said it worked.
I just wanted to mention it for the humans listening. Yeah, no. Doc, understand me. I have to mention this for the humans listening because a lot of humans get the wrong idea with how this shit works and how it ends up and the history.
Oh, I mean, yeah, and I'm sure when Purp puts this up, or when I eventually do my review, or any of us, right? I'm sure we're gonna have the Marvel people in there going, and that's the other issue, folks. Like, stop defending poor choices. And even for me, I wanted Superman to do really well, but I'm not going to defend shitty decisions in that as well. Stop. If you want them to give you good products, then we need to be critical of these things that are just plain not good, and were never part of the original movies. Now, am I saying the original run was flawless? No, those movies have their own issues too, but they were thoroughly entertaining and there was less plot holes. And I think that, especially fans, you need to stop riding the Marvel dick so hard and being like, that a boy, you could do it.
Yep.
Or make an excuse. Well, they did this to do this or whatever. Stop it. Get some help.
I've been saying that for 10 damn years. I'm like, even when it was,
it ain't helping.
I was like, can you stop the Marvel dick rat? I'm like, this comic book stuff has gotten so popular. You got these motherfuckers out here pretending like they read comic books.
Oh, like I completely agree. Like when people are like, "Oh, what's your cards for DC?" Let me show you guys this. I've showed it a couple of times. This is the ultimate guide to Batman. We have all the greatest stories. I got my Zod somewhere around here. I don't know if I can get them in the shot, but hold on a second. We got my my fiance brought me this bitchy unicorn. I got my alternate, bro. Yeah, you know what I mean. So we're fans here. We don't want to shit on a movie. Like, I can understand how people come to these reviews and either you want to hear us shit on something or you want to combat us or whatever. You think because of our views we hate these movies. It's the opposite. No one here wants to waste their fucking hard-earned money to come on here and bitch for an hour and a half to 2 hours about how disappointed they are in a movie. None of us do.
That's what I'm saying. Fantastic Four. I didn't want to waste. I didn't want to waste no money because to me, like, I'm like, if something proves me wrong, fine. But it's like I want to enjoy it because for me, like I keep telling these humans, I'm like, when I say that I'm a DC fan, it means the brand. When I say I'm a Marvel fan, it means the brand. It's not a couple of characters or this one team. It's the fucking brand. So even the characters and teams that I don't care for, I still want it to be good because if it's not and stuff don't work out financially, then maybe they won't do the shit that I actually want to see.
Exactly. Nobody wants to see a movie fail, especially movies that are so close. And let's be real here. If I'm lining this up against the other Fantastic Four movies, this is definitely better than Rise of the Silver Surfer or Fan Four Stick. Let's just get that out.
I like it more than all of them.
Yeah, it's better. It's better than all of them. It's just, to me, the early 2000s one, to me, has better casting in terms of, like, if you were to take that cast and give them this movie, 1000% fire.
I was about to say because Terrence, we talked about this too, man. I don't know. Maybe I know I'm definitely in the minority, but those movies, I think the hate. I don't think they deserve the hate that they get, man. I do have love for Fantastic Four and Rise of the Silver Surfer. Not great movies by a long shot. But I don't know. I find them entertaining Fantastic Four films.
That's because the cast is cool. It's just the writing makes me want to slip my wrist. But like the cast is definitely cool. But it seems like as they progress, they drop the ball somewhere. It's like the cast is messed up, but the script is good, or vice versa. It's like there's always something where you like, can't you just do what you're supposed to do completely?
With that being said, let's get into to the positives, and then I'll get into like predictions and speculations and all that fun stuff. I'll start off. I just really like the family dynamic in this, and just like the teamwork shit. Because like I've always liked like these. I know a lot of people don't like the Fantastic Four, but just normally like, well, recently for me, I've liked these like weird, obscure teams like the Doom Patrol and stuff like that. Like teams that just aren't like, they don't got a Superman, they don't got a Batman, you know what I'm saying? Or just, these like, they just got weird. They all just a team of just weirdos, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that works. And a lot of this should just like kind of work for me. I understood going into this that like we're going to see more of this stuff kind of play out. Like I like what they're doing with Reed's character, where he's dealing with not only his own intelligence, like he's too smart for his own good, but like he's also having to deal with being a dad, for the first time. That's going to be a pressure for any kind of any dude, protecting his family. And I think that's going to be interesting with him being one of the leads for Doomsday and stuff, like him, dealing with another big, crazy kind of threat, and just everything he had to kind of deal with and stuff. That's going to be interesting to see his arc play out in several movies and stuff, and and even with like just him and Sue, and you can kind of see them kind of butting heads, and you can definitely see them kind of separating, or just see the seeds being planted for that. And I want to see what they're going to do with Johnny, because I didn't expect y'all to hate Johnny like that. But then, goddamn, I was just like, yo, they gave him something to do. He was smart. He wasn't annoying to me. Like, so maybe I just like Joseph Quinn. He's just, I don't know, he's like likable guy, like just likable actor and shit. Like, and I always said this. I need Eben and Joseph to start doing movies together, because like they definitely give off that like Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson kind of duo type of shit. Like that's why I kind of like think when I see them like talking in interviews and stuff like that. But and with the whole Galactus shit, I was like, like I'm fine with it. It makes sense for the story they're being told. Like you don't need to. One of Marvel's gripes is they always kill off their villains, and I'd been more mad at that if they killed off Galactus in his first appearance or some shit like that. That'd have been stupid. Just similar to like BVS, like they should have never killed Superman in his second fucking movie. That was stupid.
Killed him at all. Yeah,
that was dumb. You got to build up to that, but yeah, it's just like it. This movie only had to do one thing. It didn't need to be the next end game or nothing like that. It just needed us to get us to that. Establish this team, establish this family, establish the Fantastic Four, set up Galactus. We could use him down the line, whether he pops back up in Secret Wars and Battle World or some shit like that, which would be crazy to get everybody's reaction to see like Galactus come out of a big ass fucking portal or some shit like that, and just still don't know how they're gonna bring all that together, but it's still like interesting. And I just like the whole 60s aesthetic. I think aesthetically, it's probably the most like unique since like probably Black Panther, because like it felt like you got transported into a world in like when we see a lot of these MCU movies, it just they all kind of looked the same, but this one kind of felt like just had a completely different feel to it, even with like them kind of showing like you recaps of just like their early days and stuff like that, make it feel like a documentary and stuff with the aspect ratio changing and stuff. Like little stuff like that was really fucking cool. And I know I said this is a negative, was the runtime, or just saying like it could have been longer, but at the same time, it being short, I never felt bored or just it just flew. It just kind of flowed for me. Um, and I feel like people that are on the fence about it or something like that, if you've only watched it once, watch it again. I always encourage people to try to just rewatch it because you always have like a different kind of outlook. That's how I was with Sinners at first. When I watched Sinners, I was a little mixed by it. But then, like, the more I watched it, the more I was like, I really like this. I don't really give a fuck about the vampire shit. Like I said, I don't, you know what I'm saying? But just watching it more, I like them more. What?
Oh, no. I was fucking with you tomorrow. You ain't like the vampire stuff. I said, watch your mouth.
No, I'm just saying, like, vampires aren't my big thing. Like, I'm more of a werewolf person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh my
werewolves
god,
are more.
my fiance loves fucking werewolves. She thinks vampires are bitches.
Like vampires are cool, but it's just so overdone now. It's just like they're not special anymore. Like,
I'd be like,
watch from dusk till dawn.
have you met Hannibal King and Blade and Dracula from Marvel Comics? I'll show you some bitch vampires.
No. Like I said, there are sprinkles. Like I like Midnight Mass. That's like probably my favorite. Castlevania is probably like the best vampire shit. Like currently right now, like that shit, fire, amazing animation.
I love werewolves too, but it's just like every time that humans try to mention something about a badass werewolf, I'm like, I can give you 10 vampires that'll fuck that werewolf up.
I feel like we haven't gotten, like, werewolves have gotten the short end of the stick. They haven't got the same love, or just the amount of content as far as when we talk about creatures like Frankenstein and stuff, shit, like I'm leaning more towards the werewolves and shit like that.
Absolutely. They haven't, because with werewolves largely, they haven't found something to where it pops. Like vampires pop. Like even when they die off, you do something and it pops. I don't care if it's Twilight or the originals or Blade, there's always something that pops.
Hellsing.
Right. Or now Sinners. But then it's like with werewolves, it's like humans don't care. It's like you really got to come out with something that gets everybody to see a werewolf movie.
Well, let's be honest. The best thing about a werewolf is the transformation. After that, they just become big dogs. That they have no personality. Whereas vampires are seductive. They're cool.
Hey, I'm a fan of John Wick. Dogs fucking rule. That man like 400 people over
I'm just saying they just become big dogs, and then it's less interesting.
Right. It's like those dogs are surrounded by Keanu Reeves and Donnie Yen and shit. I'm like, man,
But Terrence, what are some of your positives, since you kind of got all the negatives and you nitpick? So
and try to keep it under an hour.
Hey, man, I'm playing until dawn. I gotta go and finish because I done got my fucking hot chick killed, and now I gotta fucking figure out a mystery here. So I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the game, folks. Don't see.
I got you. Yep, sometimes alike. But okay, so you said positive, Purp, right?
Yeah.
The condensed version.
So so we don't got 10 hours basically.
TikTok version, TikTok version.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, so I do like the 60s aesthetic. Like at first I was like, man, get this shit out of here. Give me some modern Fantats where like I wasn't feeling that from the trailers, but when I watched the movie, I was like, you know what? This is working for the reason of the problem, even though I like the Infinity Saga, that shit is goated. The problem is that a lot of those movies look the fucking same color palettes, the same shit. Like
the Infinity Saga?
Yeah. Like when you look at the vast majority of MCU movies, the color palette and all that shit is the same.
Yeah.
There's only a few of them where you're like, oh, that's Black Panther. That's Doctor Strange. It's like there's a few that you can pick out, But if you were to
Guardians.
confuse one for another one, it's like it would be understandable because a lot of it looks the same unless you're
Yeah.
noticing a particular character on screen. Then that gives you the indication. But so I like that the 60s aesthetic really works for the movie. It does make it feel like it's in a different time, that it's not your usual MCU experience. So I thought that worked. I did like that Reed Richards was actually intelligent, like I mentioned, not dumb as fuck like in Doctor Strange 2. And then
Yes,
I
Black
like
Bolt.
right, he was just like, we're the Illuminati. You know what? You're not gonna do shit because my boy over here can kill you with a whisper. I'm like, okay. Yeah, so but yeah, I like that Reed was smart. I like the family dynamic. They did feel like a family, even though I wanted them to do more fighting. The family aspect is important, and they felt like a family, which is why I was like, man, it's gonna be some tear jerking shit when Galactus fucks them up, because this is a whole ass family right here. But it didn't happen like that. But so yeah, the family dynamic, the score, that fucking soundtrack was insane. I was just like,
Da, da,
yeah,
yeah, that's just fire.
that shit was
That's what
really
stuck in my
hitting.
head.
Like, yeah, that fantastic. I was like, that shit got stuck in my head, and the 4 appeared on my chest. And I don't even care about the team like that. I was like, y'all cheap with this music. Because normally, when I think of music, I always associate that with DC, because usually they come with the scores and shit, right? Like usually
Yeah.
Marvel have like a little tune or something. But I was like, with this one, it was like it was built different. They wanted to make you remember the movie as much as they could. So I love the soundtrack. And then Galactus. I like how he looks. I like the voice. So that would be
You like his
my
ship?
positives. Wait, go ahead.
You like his ship?
Yeah. I thought that was well realized. I really like how they did that. I also like the montage thing at the beginning of the movie. I wish they would have did that as the movie instead of what we got.
Wait, just so do they have Galactus's ship?
You mean like the Fantastic Four? Like, did they get it at the end
Yeah.
of the movie?
Yeah.
I didn't
I don't
see that,
remember.
but it's possible. I mean, like Reed Richards. So, in the comics, when they encounter Galactus or any type of vessel, Reed likes to study it so they know how to fuck somebody up the next time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very huge possibility. You know what I mean? So,
Okay.
but yeah. But yeah, so those are my positives. I feel like overall the movie very much surprised me, because I was just like, this gonna be straight trash. But to me, it ended up being pretty solid. Like I'm not mad at it, even though I have my preferences.
Okay. Zod?
Kind of along the same lines of T-Virus. This movie, I went in with expectations to the fucking floor. And whereas with Superman, my shit was on sky high. And I said, nope, this time I'm going to temper my expectations and not put so much weight on everything. And one, I like that it didn't piss me off as much as Superman 2025. And folks, my name is General Zod, so I'm not hating on DC. So those stupid fucking people who left that comment.
Just being a villain.
I'm a DC fan. I prefer Superman in my mind being better. Unfortunately, this movie to me was better than Superman in every way except for the third act, where I felt more invested in the world. I felt they built up the dynamics a lot better. I felt they did the time skip fucking way better, because they did it like a sizzle reel. And shout out, because I know nobody on this panel talked about it, fucking Mo Man. I've been waiting to see him.
AKA Stingray. He's always gonna be that's Stingray to me. That's always gonna be Stingray. And he was really more Stingray than he was more Stingray than anything.
No, I said I like the montage and the scissor. I'm like, that's all part of it. That's part of it. Even though I don't care about Mo Man, I do like the actor that plays him, Cobra Kai. And shit.
Yeah, Stingray.
Dude, when they had Stingray as Mo Man, I was ready to give this a 10. I'm not gonna lie. Like, my starting
Yeah, he low key roasted Johnny and Reed. That was funny.
Yeah, don't get
Dude,
mad at me.
was,
I didn't dress you.
because I was roasting him. So I'm glad that Mo Man did the roasting for me. I'm like, get him, Mo Man. Hell,
bro, I wanted to see that movie. Like,
that's what I
if we
said.
get a Bowman versus Fantastic Four movie, that would have been fucking great. But anyways, I digress. That was pretty good. And I like, as corny as it sounds, because I'm a father myself. I like the fact that Marvel didn't like shit on fatherhood. They've been doing a lot of weird shit. Let's face it, they've been doing a lot of, let's say, politically skewed kind of shit in their movies.
Agenda.
Shitting on the dads. You just say they're shitting on the dads.
It's called agenda.
MCU.
But I finally like the fact that they put some respect on fatherhood. And I think that was another big thing that got me invested.
W fathers.
Because like I understood that feeling. It brought me back. Like I was having fucking flashbacks of when I first became a dad, and I was like, dude, your brain ain't gonna fucking help you out of this one, bro.
Right.
You can't calculate.
And that's why I liked how they displayed that like off rip, like he was already kind of like, oh fuck, like I'm gonna be a dad. On some Ellie shit. It's like I'm gonna be a dad.
So everybody,
I am trying to Purp not be put in a Vietnam War. I covered that fucking bullshit show all the way through, and not to derail, but I this has got to be said. When they made changes, I said good because I hate the fucking second game. I think it's atrocious. But then I went back and I played the second game, and I go, you know what? This might have been their plot because it ain't that bad considering this show fucking sucked. Fuck you, Craig Mason. I hope HBO burns to the fucking ground. Anyways,
they shouldn't even have made a second game. Like I don't care. Like they should have left it alone.
No, yeah, I agree. One and done. But anyways, so I like the fatherhood aspect, and I like that they embraced a nuclear family. Which this isn't just a Marvel problem. I feel like Hollywood in general has really gotten away from having, God forbid, two strong fucking parents that give a shit about their kids and they don't all have baggage and shit. So I like that they really honed in. That was my biggest thing. And I'm a sucker for Fast and Furious, so family.
Dominic Toretto,
the Dominic Toretto, y'all. He's real in, baby.
If Dominic Toretto would have beat Galactus, that would have made perfect sense. When he says family, that gives him more power than the Infinity Gauntlet. 100%.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. You saw him fucking split the earth with a fucking wrench. But anyways. Dude, those movies are fucking
great. Yep, that's what I think.
but anyways, I like that, and I like everything up to with Galactus up till where they cucked him at the end. All the way leading up to there, I think this was the best build-up in a short amount of time for a villain since Black Panther. Because if you guys know my views on that movie, I thought the best part of that movie was the villain. And I very much got those vibes of them really honing in on how threatening he is. Now, the rest of the movie fucking ruins it. But that initial buildup was excellent. And especially seeing it on the big screen. And when he basically shuts down the Silver Surfer, I was like, oh, and he's politically incorrect. He said, bitch, shut your mouth. What? Get me the kid. Don't make me smack a bitch in this shit.
Be quiet when men are talking.
You ain't shit. Like,
yeah, basically, he was like, look.
He should have been like, woman.
I would have stood up and clapped if he would have said that.
Backhand.
I do like that. Galactus does have a slight sense of humor, where like when they were trying to stop him the first time, he's like, "Oh, clever little ants."
Right.
That's what he said.
Right. Yeah. He was just like, y'all think I'm dumb as fuck. Didn't you hear me say I'm millions of years old? Like, really? Like, all right. Like,
Yeah, so those were the things I like, everything thing that you guys were, but I think the biggest positive I could give this was family and the team building. After seeing Superman's horrendous attempt to establish everything quickly, I felt like this was a better, cleaner setup, and I think that they used the time jump and adding that sizzle reel really helped in us understanding more. And I think it's something Superman should have done just to kind of give us a speed up and show us his power level, so we didn't see him on
At
the
least they didn't
ground the
cuck
whole
the
entire
villains
movie.
in Superman. Like let's be real. So there you
I
go.
knew it was coming.
All
I
right,
knew it was coming.
Rashad.
Well, okay. First, I've been waiting to say this all stream here. Did anybody else get the vibes when Galactus was like wanting to get Franklin? Did anybody else think Ghostbusters 2 with
Yes.
Vigo and the
Oh
baby?
yeah,
100%. Like I said that to my friend because he leaned over. He was like T, and I was like, yeah, I know this is kind of Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters
Like they're
2.
about to fight a fucking painting. Like I'm like, oh my god, please don't.
Right.
Don't
You want the baby? So,
Right.
okay. So, positives. Yeah, that's gonna be hard to because I mirror what all of you said. So to me, Fantastic Four has been a part of my life as long as I can remember. So I've watched the '60s cartoon. I've watched the cartoons with Herbie the Robot. I've watched the '90s version. I've read the comics. I've had the Toy Biz.
Damn, you that old?
I'm that old, bro. I'm that old. Okay.
It's like, nah, I'm kidding.
So it's like this movie like encapsulated like all of the Fantastic Four content that I've consumed over the years. It's like it was a perfect gumbo of all of that at the same time. And especially that first half just put a smile on my face. The whole retro future, Herbie the Robot, the camaraderie between the group, even though I would have loved more of the real banter between Johnny and Ben. But yeah, just it felt like a Fantastic Four movie, the Fantastic Four movie that I've always wanted, and it gave me that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, the score was fire. Galactus, perfect introduction to a villain. Like everybody else, I didn't like the way they did him at the end, but he was a standout, man. And I gotta say the MVP, Sue Storm. Like not only was she perfectly casted and she was written, perfectly, but the performance she knocked out I felt like I was watching Sue Storm and not Vanessa Kirby. Like she was that good in the role, man. And her and Reed, the way they bounced off of each other, I really bought that they were a couple, and that's the thing that I didn't buy with the 05 and 07 Fantastic Four movies is that I didn't believe for a second that guy
Jessica Alba pick that dude.
Facts.
Pull
Jessica Alba. You know what I'm saying?
Never be with him. Right. Facts.
Never pull that. But in here, I believe that they were a couple. So yeah, to wrap it up, yeah, I just love the whole retro future, the score, the camaraderie, the Fantastic Four feel. It didn't feel like a Marvel movie that's like tying into something or okay, this is gonna have no
stand on its own.
It stood on its own, and yeah, so I dug it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Negatives, positives all out the way. Now going back to like what they could be doing now to kind of wrap things up. Now with that whole Thunderbolts end credit, I think what's going to happen with Doomsday, I think we're starting with the Fantastic Four in the 828, and then that's when they're leaving. Doom is already like, because I think he's going to steal Franklin. I think Franklin is the anchor being for that universe. So when he leaves, that so that universe is going to get destroyed, and that's what's going
to. Man, I need to see shit like yeah, because the real Marvel Jesus is Blade. Like there wouldn't be none of this shit without Wesley Snipes. Let's keep it a buck.
Facts.
But
some motherfuckers are still trying to skate uphill, T-Virus.
Yep. But yeah, like Franklin. Yeah, he's hacked. I know they're gonna nerf him. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if they're gonna use the Beyonder, but I hope he's like some handsome white dude in a white outfit that just collects all the characters. Because humans are like, how are they gonna get Galactus and then get Ghost Rider and stuff? I'm like, the Beyonder could just snap they shit on Battle World. That's how the storyline works. I'm like, if anything, there really is no storyline because it was made to sell toys. So all you need to do is have characters fighting to the death, and then at the end, either the Beyonder or Franklin himself can do that reset
So
that Kevin Feige's been talking about.
so that's why I think Doom's going to use Franklin obviously to make Battleworld. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah,
That's
Totally agree.
possible. I wouldn't be mad
Yeah.
at that because Franklin can actually do that. I'm like, wow, this is one of the few times where they actually pulling deep from the comics. So I wouldn't be.
Yeah, because isn't that one of his abilities? He can create like different realities and different like worlds and shit like that.
He can destroy planets and he can alter reality at will. In fact, in the comics, there was one point where he reset the Marvel universe. So he's done that.
It makes perfect sense.
Too, still in the storyline and still part of this is Wanda's son Wiccan.
Oh my god! I'm like, man. Okay, so he is irrelevant when you got Franklin. Like that. That just
I'm gonna have to hard disagree because
no.
know
Wiccan is not more powerful than Franklin. Not even close.
Magic always wins.
No. Franklin is over that shit. He can just wipe him out of existence. There is no fight. Franklin is the key.
Wiccan created himself from nothing.
And Franklin can just create him from nothing too. He can uncreate him. Like he should just
Terrence. Do you remember? It was a quick scene. You remember when they were talking to all the different nations and you saw Latveria? It was missing. Yeah. Where do you think? Where do you think was Doom? What Doom was at that moment? Like he was already kind of plotting in the background.
Yeah, he was definitely plotting because Dr. Doom, like he hates Reed. He hates that team. He hates that family. He's always trying to one up him because he feels that everybody should be paying attention to him, and he's going to destroy the Fantastic Four. He wants to dominate the world. That's what he does. So, even though I didn't have the I didn't see the mid-credit scene at the screening. I watched it online, and when you see him show up for Franklin, I'm like, yep, that's Dr. Doom. This is the same dude that literally went into Wakanda and tricked Boss, the Black Panther god, and took the fucking vibranium and made robots to fight the Dora Milaje, the Avengers, and the X-Men simultaneously.
Didn't Doom also get the Surface Board at one point?
Yes, he did. Like Dr. Doom is a beast.
Dude, Doom tricked Strange into showing him how to do this arcane spell so that he could fuck with the universe. But he was like, "Oh, I want to go."
So if Dr. Doom can trick a Panther god, and Franklin is a child, because Franklin gets more dangerous when he's a teenager, but as a child though, he can still fuck up the vast majority of those Marvel characters in his sleep. Sleeping.
You think you think in this reality or just in this universe that like because obviously Reed's already been looking into the whole like kind of alternate like realities and stuff like wormholes. So like you think both him and Doom are already kind of looking into that stuff? Like
I think so because even Dr. Doom in the comics said the ults like he's like I've learned fighting abilities. I've learned magic. I've been able to trick a Panther god. But the one thing that I need to learn how to do is manipulate reality because that trumps all of that. Your power and skill set means nothing when I can just go psych bitch and then there's nothing you can do. So Dr. Doom wants that. So if they have him where Franklin is by his side, and then Franklin does something or somehow he can steal something from Franklin or Franklin can teach him, everybody's getting wrecked.
You think he's going to take Franklin and Sue at that moment or probably
I think what would make sense is if he just backhands Sue out a window and steals Franklin. That's more Dr. Doom.
And then an encouraging would kind of follow.
Right. Now I can see like so let's say he tries to take Franklin and Franklin's like, really? And then Franklin does some crazy shit and fucks Doom up. And then Dr. Doom is smart. Like if he can somehow manipulate Franklin, like, hey, don't worry, mommy's coming with us. Maybe Franklin might cooperate. That's the only way that I can see Dr. Doom holding off on harming Sue if it means that he can manipulate Franklin.
See, I think he's going for a different version of Franklin, is my prediction.
That could be.
Because we've established and they've been setting up this crappy multiverse for years. So let's use it to its benefit. I think most of your predictions are spot on, but I think it's going to go in the route that maybe he gets a Franklin where something happened to his parents and he became bitter or something like that, or
Yeah.
a version of him where he's angry and he's going to do his doom thing and manipulate him and be like, there's other universes where you're living happier, blah, 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 and manipulate him into going into these universes and starting shit. I think that's how he's going to do it.
That's a great theory, because in the comics, when Franklin gets upset, it's described as the Marvel universe trembles beneath Franklin.
He's like a Legion.
Yeah, like so Legion is extremely hacked, but Franklin is on another level when it comes to a multiversal scale. And like his potential a lot of the times is not fully reached, because Franklin himself, his biggest weakness is himself. Like sometimes in the comics he does doubt himself. So it's kind of like some weird shit where if you're smart enough, like Dr. Doom or Reed Richards, you could potentially trick him. Like the best way to beat him is to try to trick him. It's kind of like Mitzik Pitalik in the DC universe. You get him to say his name backwards and he fucking wrecks himself. It's kind of like that.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited because I definitely think I think they're definitely like saving Franklin for like the mutant saga and stuff, like for this whole reset thing that they're working towards for the next 7 years or whatever the fuck.
It'd be cool, man. Like if they because Kevin Feige said there's going to be a reset, so there's going to be one timeline instead of all this dumbass multiverse that they don't know what they're doing. Like Deadpool said, I'm glad he said that shit. But so if you have this one timeline and you have mutants, if they can do something where because the mutants are established or they're getting established, like the pool to try to get Franklin, like Charles trying to get him, Magneto trying to get him. I will lose my shit if I see Magneto talking to Franklin. I'm gonna be screaming like a little ass kid. I'm like, take all my money right now. I'm like, Magneto. Like, you want to talk about Dr. Doom being somebody that can say something to manipulate him? No. Magneto got those words. Like, he gonna make you.
Yeah, he got the power of persuasion. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm like, imagine he say something to Franklin, and the camera zoom in, and Franklin looks at the camera with an evil smile. I'm like, it's a wrap. Everybody done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. So
yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where they go. Spider-Man's up next. That's a year, literally a year from now.
Who's more excited about Peacemaker than Spider-Man?
I'm excited for both. I'm excited for both Marvel and DC because I think it's like
Peacemaker, the trailer that they just dropped that I sent you, Rashad. I'm like, you see that they're playing with different dimensions and multiverse type shit that they set up in Superman. I'm like, I like this. Just be careful with your execution, and y'all got this. It writes itself.
I think in Peacemaker they're gonna throw a lot of shots at Marvel for sure. Like there's definitely gonna be some gags.
Yeah, because Peacemaker's an asshole. Like see, in the comics he's boring and trash. So James Gunn definitely made him better. But that character is someone that talks shit, that he thinks he's better than everybody else. He's basically like the whacker version of Booster Gold. Because at least with Booster Gold, with all the mistakes that he makes, he gets good enough to join the Justice League. Peacemaker is that dude on the sideline acting like he's too good to join the Justice League.
So I think this is like for a Fantastic Four to kind of wrap things up. I think this is a strong start for Phase 6. Compared to some other ones. I think for Phase 5 they had better movies than TV shows, and then with Phase 4 they had better the TV shows.
Movie do you think was good? Because I would strongly disagree.
Guardians 3.
Yeah,
okay.
I like
I'll
Guardians.
give you that. That's one.
Thunderbolts was good.
I like them.
You know what I'm saying?
I like them.
I like the Marvels. The Marvels was better than the first Captain America. I didn't really care for the villain, but I still think it was much better than
the Marvels was good until we got to that fucking singing planet. That's
There,
just
there,
fucked
there,
up.
And then they had Quantumanium. They didn't have that many movies for Phase 5.
no. There is nothing good about cucking the Kree and the Skrull. I'm like, they got beat up by a family. I'm like, somehow,
No. What I liked about it is like I just like the I'm always big with the teamwork shit, like where they were like using their powers together and stuff. That shit was cool. Like that's why I kind of liked about it. It just
I,
the movie was
I'll
just
give you,
not boring. It was still entertaining.
I'll give you the team
Yeah,
thing. Like, I think that
yeah.
movie is terrible, but I will give you the team thing. But to me,
Mhm.
like Amon Villani as a person is cool, even though I don't like her character. So she was the only thing that I really enjoyed, like in terms of entertainment. But it's just to me, the last 5.5 years, there's too many mistakes, and the box office is a reflection. I'm like, how did you go from dominating the world to a bunch of flops and low viewership? That's because of the content you're putting out and the characters that you're focusing on without any connectivity and any reason to care.
Right on.
I
Yep,
agree.
yep.
I'd say, and even this is a hot take, and probably people aren't going to like this opinion, but I'm just going to say it. I think the new Daredevil was good. I really liked it.
I know that's not a hot take.
It was cool. It was cool. Yeah.
Nobody watched it though, and that's because of the last 5.5 years. I'm like, everybody was scared that they were gonna fuck that up and do Agenda, and John Bernthal got that show to change because at first they put Agenda in the show, and John Bernthal, when they try to get him, he's very protective of Punisher. He's like, if you do anything dumb with my character, I'm not gonna do it. So they reworked most of that series to accommodate John Bernthal, so we can thank him for the way that shit turned out.
Question. Do y'all think that the Odyssey is going to hurt Spider-Man's box office?
Yes, to some degree. So
what the hell's the Odyssey?
The new Christopher Nolan movie.
Oh
yeah,
man,
like that shit gonna be sick. I want to get my tickets now, but I can't. Like that.
You know the story of the Odyssey, right?
Terrible idea with how weak Marvel has been to put it up against Chris Nolan. I mean, like or hate him, I know some people think he's overrated. He's overrated for a fucking reason because he's a great director. And
I would never say he's overrated.
He's
I don't
made
think he's
banger
good.
after
Great,
he's made banger after banger. Even matching a fucking movie like Barbie, they both matched box offices. So I think it was very, very poor planning. And if I had one advice for Marvel, I would wait at least a week before you dropped Spider-Man
or push it up.
Or push it up. I think that's a terrible fucking
here's the thing, though. Like, so I think it's gonna take away from it, but that Spider-Man movie. So Spider-Man has stock. Like, humans forget that Sony, when they weren't fucking up, when they were doing Spider-Man movies, all of those movies made more than 700 million without the rest of these Marvel characters. And then when you put him in the MCU, then you get it to 1 billion, 1.9 billion with No Way Home. So I'm like, Spider-Man has been the most popular Marvel character for the last 45 years. So because of all the stock that he has and the fact that Punisher's going to be in the movie, it's going to connect to Doomsday, it will still make 1 billion. But what will probably
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to interject. I don't think it's gonna make
Spider-Man movie. So look, Spider-Man Far From Home, 1 billion. Spider-Man No Way Home, 1.9 billion. The only thing that's going to prevent it from not necessarily getting that No Way Home money is going to be because of Christopher Nolan's movie. Like, Christopher Nolan's movie, I can see reaching 800, 900 million. They're going to be
like, he already put out. They put out the IMAX tickets for the 77 million. Them shit's already sold out. That shit's like a year away. Like,
that's what I'm saying. But it's like, a lot of individuals who run these properties, they don't have something as big as Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the one where you can put
popular. Okay, so as a book nerd, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I'm going to say the Odyssey is one of the most. And we're talking about now. You're running the adult demographic against. And there are adult Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's another question I had. Is it going to be rated R though too, like, or PG-13?
What? I heard that it's going to be. I heard that it's going to be R-rated. So, but
Okay.
It's
but
you
see, here's
can't
the thing,
tell.
though.
He said he's sticking close to the original book story, and that shit is not PG-13. I can tell you.
Okay.
Right.
Read it.
Not just that, but also the historical implications as well, right? So, but my
Yeah.
thing is, they're to me, they're both gonna make money, but it's like Spider-Man is Spider-Man. So you, like I said, Spider-Man is still gonna make $1 billion. I promise you, it's gonna make $1 billion. Now,
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan's movie, The Odyssey, is definitely gonna make money. It's gonna be profitable for sure. But I feel like Spider-Man is not gonna necessarily make as much as it could have because it's competing. But that goes also for The Odyssey with Spider-Man being there.
Yeah, like next year alone is just going to be a huge competitive year just for movies in general. Like everybody's throwing out like some big ass movies next year. So
Right. So it's like the word is, if they tell you Spider-Man making a cup of tea, Spider-Man coming home again, any of that Spider-Man stuff where it's a Spider-Man movie, you would be smart to wait a little bit because it's Spider-Man. You have kids that love him and adults. And again, this is not like it's Craven or Venom or Madam Web. This is Spider-Man. And also, Kevin Feige said that there's going to be a lot of cameos in that movie. So that's only going to boost it higher because of what it's connecting to. So that's important to never overlook Spider-Man. So again, I think realistically, the way to look at it is that they're both going to make crazy ass money. But if they were, separated further, then they would make even more. That's how I view it.
All
yeah,
right, so let me throw this out at you because I don't buy $1 billion unless maybe we see another Barbenheimer situation where people are going to both, because you could still have the same
yeah, people are
adult.
definitely gonna go both.
They're gonna,
And
they're
by
gonna
that
go, they're
time,
gonna
it
go
like
both.
by the time like Spider-Man comes out, like Odyssey would be on its second week or something like that.
Correct.
So
And
I mean,
so also, like, here's the thing, like, so you had Barbie make over $1 billion, and then you had Oppenheimer make over 900 million on an R rating. When it comes to movies, especially R-rated ones, they have a limited demographic because of the mature nature that comes with R. So R
mhm.
movies historically struggle way more than family movies. Spider-Man is a family character. So the adults are gonna be like, yo, we'll go see the Odyssey, and then maybe they'll go take the kids to see Spider-Man. But they going to see Spider-Man.
You know that's
Bottom
gotta
line,
feel good.
Spider-Man's gonna whoop Nolan's ass, but like that's wrap it up right there. Spider-Man's gonna whoop Nolan's ass twice on Sunday.
I don't know, man. Nolan's coming fresh off a Best Picture win too. Like that's what's crazy too. It's
Right.
like yo, he coming
But
fresh
Right.
off of.
No. Look, Nolan has stock. If any, like
Mhm.
Christopher Nolan or James Cameron, right? Like if James come with an Avatar movie or something, or Christopher Nolan come out, like there's only a few directors where if you mention them to someone, they know who they are. Because most directors, nobody knows who they are unless you are movie and video.
Denny's getting up there too. Like and
Yeah,
Denny's got
right, right.
he has the only comparable run too. Like to Nolan, like
Yeah,
they're going back to
right.
back. Like
Right, Denis Villeneuve with the Doom movies and shit, sure. But I'm just saying, like, Christopher
mhm.
Nolan is also, before all these movies started popping off, he's the dude that saved Batman. And two out
facts.
of the trilogy made $1 billion. Like, this dude has insane stock. It's like the WB fucked him over, and that's why he left, right? Because they could have had that Oppenheimer shit. The dumb as hell. WB's trash. But my thing is, like,
For
with
real.
Christopher Nolan, he guarantees money. Is just a question of how much.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, I don't foresee him. I think both movies are going to make ridiculous. They're definitely going to, hands down, without any questions, they're going to make their money back. I think we're just more on the who's going to make more. I still think it's kind of foolish to pit them against each other. I
Facts.
think
Facts.
But
unless
I'm not even
Marvel,
trying. I'm not trying to do it like intentionally. But it's just like they're coming out like
no,
so
that's the way
close to
it's
each
set up.
other. Mm.
What I'm saying is Marvel as a studio, I think they still need to build the brand slightly more before you go for the big swings. Like if this was Marvel from Infinity War days, I'd say fucking Nolan's making a mistake. But Marvel
Mm.
now, and not having
I think they.
wins.
But
This is
again,
like
I do think.
what did I say earlier? They don't have, so the MCU, if they have event films, as they have proven, it makes money. Deadpool and Wolverine, Spider-Man No Way Home. This Spider-Man Brand New Day is considered an event film because it leads into Doomsday. Now, they wanted to make a grounded Spider-Man movie, and they've been fighting over that, but no, it's going to be non-grounded. That shit that they set up at the end of No Way Home, out the window. He's going to be everybody and their grandmother up in that movie. They already got Punisher and the Hulk. They got other ones too that they're keeping a secret.
And Daredevil, I believe, is
Hulk's supposed to be the new Spider-Man joint.
Yes, Kevin Feige said that you're going to get Spider-Man and Punisher, and they're supposed to be fighting a Savage Hulk, as in he's supposed to return to form or whatever. I'll believe that when I see it. But I'm like, that's just one piece. So I'm like, so you having that alone is gonna, I'm like, $1 billion. Spider-Man alone is $1 billion, but then you adding Punisher, Hulk, and who knows who else?
Yeah, it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit.
It's gonna be lit.
It's gonna be lit for sure. I can't wait for next year. Next year, like 2025 has been cool. You know, say this was a good year, but like I'm really like 2026 is looking legendary. Like,
dude, 2025 has been terrible for me. You see everything. For me, this has been the worst year. It only started getting better this back half. Like the first half of this year has been kind of trash for me, except for television.
I gotta see a list. I gotta see the list of movies you
watch. Wait till you see the list. But I will say one thing. I will give them credit. One thing. Streamers have been coming out hot and keeping me. I got gray fucking hair trying to keep up with all the banger shows. God damn. Netflix said, hold my
Apple
beer.
TV. Apple TV Plus going crazy.
Don't be sleeping on sleep on Paramount Plus. You heard what happened with Dexter Resurrection.
No. T-Virus, don't insult me like that. This is a Dexter fan. Bro, Dexter Resurrections?
Did you? That's what I'm saying. But did you see that in episode 1 they got more than 5 million viewers? They broke records and shit from episode 1.
Bro, Dexter Resurrections. Like, then don't get me wrong, I don't hate New Blood as much as other people, but Resurrections was what I wanted from New Blood, and I don't want to give away spoilers for my review, but episode 4 might be the best episode in Dexter as a series, full stop. The fucking cameos and what's his face who's in the show.
Yo, Peter Dinklage and Michael C. Hall on screen together is beyond magic. I'm like, that's fucking crazy to me.
Dude, I was going nuts on the screen. I was like, no way, bro. Hold
on. Let me close this out real quick, and we could just talk in the back. But I appreciate y'all. Anybody checked out the live, or if you checked out the replay, make sure you follow everybody here, subscribe to them. Appreciate Zah, appreciate Terrence, appreciate Rashad for coming in. Just stay tuned. Look on my message board and stuff, like my community tab and stuff, to find out when the next, or follow me on Twitter, obviously, just see what the next episode will be. It might end up being on my birthday week or something like that. So like I said, I appreciate everybody pulling up. Let me know y'all thoughts about Fantastic Four in the comments of this. So next time I will.
It sounds like you're closing this up, Purp. I thought we was doing 10 hours.
Negro, it's about midnight.
Absolutely.
I'm about to get off this game. It's about midnight. You on the West Coast, nigga.
We have this. Remember, the key is family. Remember,
Purp, do you mind a second if I just plug something really quick? Because
go ahead.
I'm proud of it. I just want to say, please definitely check out. I got an advanced screening to see Weapons, and I have a completely non-spoiler. I give nothing away in the review. It's only it's my shortest review on the channel because
can't wait for
I
that.
Don't say anything. Mm-hmm. So if people can go and check that out, I'd really appreciate it. Because
also to add on to that, if y'all didn't know, the opening weekend they're going to actually have 217 showtimes and stuff too. So
go see it.
But All right. I'll check y'all out in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.